Hey, welcome back to the Jess Marshall Podcast. This week, we've got a very special guest in the studio, Nicole Wise. She is a health, fitness, and sex coach, life coach. Should be a very interesting conversation. I hope that you stay tuned for that. You're probably wondering, who in the hell is this guy talking to me right now? My name is Jess Marshall. I'm a contractor, a builder, a real estate investor. I've got a restoration contracting company and love architecture, whole nine yards. Started this podcast, the Jess Marshall Podcast, to talk to other fearless, do-it-yourself, passionate people, much like Nicole, because we need to be propping each other up, helping each other out, cheering each other on more, in my opinion. And I like to talk to people about things that are a little uncomfortable, things that are interesting to me, and things that are off the beaten path. I hope you enjoy this episode. I'll talk to you after. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Jess Marshall Podcast. Wow. Mark that swipe. Bring it.
What is a big deal is, for example, I had a new client start last week, and he walked in, and I'm at the gym alone, completely alone, and he's late 50s, and he's like, I didn't think you'd be this tall and this beautiful. I'm like,
that's how we're starting off?
Okay. You didn't say anything derogatory.
Older
give
guy?
You know, but then goes, hey, I brought you a gift.
Okay.
All right. You brought me a candle and an apple, and I just met you.
An apple? What, like you're a teacher or something?
I don't know.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, and then later he's texting me this past weekend. He goes, hey, block me if I blow up your phone too much. And I was like, hey, man, like, first of all, respect level. Second of all, I'm seeing somebody.
Whoa,
but why?
Block you? What, like you have to be?
No, I have to block him.
I know,
he's
he's supposed to, you're supposed to block him like you're the governor on the communication here.
Right, because he's not also an adult that can make a respectful decision.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I was going to wait a minute to like get off into all that stuff, but the online dating, the app, meeting people on apps, all that kind of stuff is just
atrocious.
It's crazy. I think that the pendulum seems like it might be swinging to where people are just like, I'm gonna try to get just out there and actually meet someone like in the thick of things, like who's actually, you know, on the field playing the game, not sitting in the bleachers watching.
Yep.
How do you have a conversation? I mean, the amount of times that I tried to meet up with someone who I met on an app, and height's very important to me. I'd be like, how tall are you? Oh, I'm 5'8". I'll be like, that'll do. All right. And then, like whose tape, where'd you buy your tape measure? Like,
oh no, they were shorter?
This happened numerous times.
Okay, so that's never happened to me.
Numerous times.
But I've heard multiple friends say that, and I'm like, okay, I get lying about something, right? But your height?
Well, so what was the ultimate goal, though? Because isn't the goal to meet? So some people must not want to meet. It must be enough that this person swiped, and now we're talking, and I feel like maybe they're out of my league, but this did enough of an ego boost that I can get by another day, and then I'm off to, my internet porn or something like that? Because, you know, that seems like, just seems like if everything keeps going the way it's going, first of all, we're not going to reproduce.
No.
Our country isn't. The only reason that we're still a superpower of any kind is because we have so many people immigrating to this country. We don't reproduce.
No,
neither
really
do the Russians, neither do the Chinese. It's crazy. But how do you expect to, how are you going to do that just through a text conversation on an app?
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what scares me, and I'm not going to get into AI and all that, but if we keep going down that road and then lose that human connection even more, I mean, why would people get married? Why would they have kids? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary because I am somebody, like, I have been married, I've been divorced, but I want to get married again. I want to have a family. And I found somebody that's great for me to date. We've been friends for 3 years, which is what I've wanted. But the thought of actually just meeting somebody through an app, I mean, I did not meet one good they're not bad people, but like one person where I'm like, man, I really see a future with you at all. Really? Now I dated some for 6 months or whatever, but if it became something long term, it actually became a very toxic relationship. So it was like something's missing when you're sitting there on your phone for that long, just swiping through people. And I know how I changed because I couldn't bring myself to get back on an app for a long time after I went through some kind of quote unquote self-discovery stuff.
How old were you when you got married?
I was, how old was I? 23?
Yeah.
Only married a year. We were together for 5.
I got married when I was 22, and then I got divorced at 30, and we were together for 10 years. That divorce is fun shit, isn't it?
Mine was pretty simple.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. He fucked up real bad.
Oh, well,
and,
okay.
I still love him. He actually just got married last Saturday, or this past Saturday. He's one of my closest friends. But, yeah, we had an interesting night, and I basically took him home and was like, you're taking your shit. You're never coming back here. We're splitting everything down the middle. Bye. But we're fortunate enough we didn't have kids in the mix and,
right.
Stuff like that. So mine was not that bad.
Yeah.
Emotionally, yes, but all the rest was not bad.
And you think that started your road to self-discovery? That experience? No?
Oh, no. That's when I dropped off the cliff for a while.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Nicole, could you move your mic to the edge of the table?
Yeah. Got it.
It's kind of uncomfortable. No one's going to lie.
Point it up to your...
That part's also uncomfortable. No one's going to lie. No one is. I'm not. I don't particularly care for it.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. God. Did you get real depressed and stuff?
No, so we ended up having an open marriage. And through that open marriage, I met somebody, and this like when I told you I had my Positive Kink podcast and all that. So I learned a lot about myself sexually, and then what I wanted in a relationship that kind of intertwined with that. And the person that I found that through, I knew I was meant to be with somebody like that and not necessarily my husband. Now, that didn't end our marriage at all, but that's where I learned that I'm like a submissive in bed and that kind of thing. So after I got divorced, I hunted and searched for that. The bad thing is a lot of men that consider themselves dominant are kind of, very narcissistic, manipulative men for the most part. So you get into those relationships and you kind of I would hand myself over. I think I was desperate to find a connection, and I was upset that I got a divorce. And I'm a jump in the deep end, see if there's water or if there's concrete at the bottom. I'm not a toe in the shallow end person on anything in my life.
I get that.
I'm learning. But yeah, I jumped into some relationships that wrecked me pretty hardcore. And the last one was somebody I actually thought about marrying, and we were together for 2 years. Found out he was still married, that whole typical story. And after that, I was like, okay, Nicole, like something's going on in your brain, and you need to figure it out. And so I decided not to date for a good while, went to therapy, and just the tools she gave me, I worked on them and I hate the whole I love myself. I fucking hate that.
Self-love.
Oh my, fuck that. No, are you alive? Like, you love yourself. I hate that because it made me feel like shit when somebody goes, you don't love yourself. No, I love myself. I get up every day. I work out. I work. I make a living. I love myself. I don't understand myself.
Are you hard on yourself, though? You sound like you're hard on yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I think plant medicine would help you with, to a degree. Because that was 100% my view.
Really?
That's soft. Get the fuck out of here. But I've struggled with depression for a long time. So I've probably racked up somewhere between 40 and 50 concussions from the old game.
Jeez.
So I've got like that CTE type stuff, and just trying to figure out how to plow, just keep going.
Yeah.
Which when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I would have been cool if I didn't wake up today. That's a concern.
A little bit.
And you're like, this is weird, or nothing's lighting me on fire. I'm not passionate about anything. And I think that the plant medicine helped me realize that everything that's happened to me in my life has brought me to where I am. And I'm proud that I'm still here. And I'm proud that I went through all of those things. I used to look back at things like my divorce or other business failings or my athletic career ending not in the way that I wanted it to as failures.
Right.
And then my mind has started to change this year where I cut myself a little bit of a break.
Okay.
I don't not want to be excellent. I'm not going for it every day. But I am now just sort of like, well, didn't work out like I wanted it to. I think I'm going to call it a day and go for a walk or work out or watch a documentary. And then I'm just going to get up and do this again. And the way that I used to handle it would just be to just keep just blindly just blasting forward.
Just grinding,
grinding. Work harder, work out again, do more work, whatever.
Yeah.
Crash, burn, get back up, start over, which isn't very sustainable. So the self-love thing in terms of I am 400 pounds, I never work out, I mainline mayo, I love myself. No, 100% no.
Well, okay. So this is where I'll challenge you, and I don't think the love yourself thing is soft. I don't. For the record, I don't. But I think for me, I have to reword it and say, yeah, cool. I do love myself, but I don't understand who I am. And when I went to therapy, the best way I could describe it, because so many people in my world, in my family, and kind of, the gym mindset, like they look down on therapy still in a way. And I'm like, but it's not that I was screwed up. It's literally like I went and there were all these puzzle pieces on the table. And she just said, okay, let me guide you here. Let me guide you there. And then after I was done, I don't know, I did 10 sessions or something. And not that the whole puzzle piece is together, or puzzle, but it's so much better than what it was. Because I'm starting to understand, okay, why did you decide to go on a date with that man? Or why did you decide to go down that road business-wise? And it makes more sense to me now, instead of sitting there in these feelings of why am I not better? Why am I not working harder? It's like, okay, this is why you did that. So take a step back, chill the fuck out. You're okay. The fact that you're not, you don't have multiple businesses and making millions upon millions is okay. Like, you've got all these other great things. So that's why I challenged the you don't love yourself statement. So there's nothing wrong with that. But.
No, I feel you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm a builder, so I've always been in construction, fascinated by it. What I saw and realized in one of my ayahuasca sessions, if you're a real journeyer, you say you sat with ayahuasca.
Okay.
Just so you know,
Understood.
for the future. Yeah, I've sat with ayahuasca. This is what they say. It was like, when you work on something really hard. So I've always been in construction. I've had very few projects where there was an unlimited budget, but those are awesome. You can do everything custom. You can buy the best material. You can get the best labor lined up, all of that. You're going back to that job every day or 3 times a week, and you're working on this thing. You're making something really rad. You're working on it, though. I saw myself in that, and I was like, man, when I'm done with projects like that, I'm really proud, because I'm like, when I started, that was just a piece of land, and now, I've created something. When I started to see that working on myself was the same way, I got this new appreciation for it. So you're in fitness, and it took you a minute to get to this point where you're like, I got to work on my mind.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Why? Why is the fitness industry got this broad stroke of, counseling, therapy, things like that? No, just work out harder, just be disciplined, just conquer your mind through a hard workout. Is it more indicative of our culture that it seems like therapy is maybe catching on more now? Or is it, I can work my way out of this tough spot?
I think it's who you hang out with. I know, since I live in the world of CrossFit, and that kind of has that more hardcore, I'm just going to gut it out no matter what. Yeah, I mean, I like the guy I'm seeing now. he is a like, let's work, let's do this all the time, which is phenomenal and it's brought him a lot of success, but it's also tired him the fuck out. And I brought up not pushing therapy on him at all, just talking about my life and my journey with that. And it's that immediate, oh no, like I'll just go work out. That'll be my therapy. And it's like, there's so much more than that. Like you can meditate and that'll only get you so far, but sometimes you just need to talk to people. Now I think the world outside of CrossFit or like the NFL and things like that, those extreme sports, yeah, a lot more people are open. I don't know if you find that. Like I think we're a lot more accepting of it as a society than ever. But yeah, I don't know why it's necessarily still kind of looked down upon in those little niche groups.
I definitely think that your high profile next level, like CEOs, athletes, artists, entertainers, they're all looking for an edge and they all understand that comes in the mind. That's where it starts. Did you watch or listen to that Rogan podcast with Rick Rubin?
No. It's on. I've got them kind of like listed out.
Rad,
it's on
man.
there.
It talks about how he got in shape. He's starting to work out with Laird Hamilton.
Yeah.
And he would say, Laird would be like, do 10 push-ups. And he'd be like, I can't even do one. And Laird would say, no, don't say I can't anymore. Just say I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I haven't
Or
yet.
I will.
Or I will.
Yeah.
Right. And it's this changing of the way that your mind frames things. When a thought comes into your mind, you don't have to entertain it. You can say, this isn't the time for that thought. That's not the right thought. That's not right thinking. That doesn't align with my values. That's totally up to us. But a lot of times we're like, and the mind is, now it's time to be sad. Now it's time to be whatever.
Right.
No. Like true enlightenment is when you dictate to your mind the way the rest of you feels. Do you have you started a meditation practice?
I have a little bit. Definitely.
Well, you meditate when you're working out though, too.
Yeah, but at the same time, I it's my job, right? So it kind of all, to me, it evens out.
Yeah.
So actually, I kind of meditate more when I go ride my horse. So I ride 5 days a week. But yeah, I've had moments where, especially Mo, has taught me a lot about meditation and stuff. And it was definitely when he and I hung out more, he would talk about it with me, and I had that initial reaction of, why would I waste my time with that? This is ridiculous. I'm not getting anywhere. And I have that. I mean, I have my motto tattooed on my arm: be proud but never satisfied, which I fully believed in years ago. And now I'm like, what the
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can take it in a very good way. It's also a very destructive mindset.
Never satisfied.
Yeah, be proud but never be satisfied.
Yeah, right. That's a tough deal.
It's tough.
I think again, finding out where you can give yourself credit and be like, okay, we're good for today, and we got to be ready for tomorrow. So whatever I got to do to be ready for tomorrow, I'm going to do. The athlete mindset is for sure competitive. Someone is working out harder. And then if you're an athlete who's also an entrepreneur, it doubles down, right? Because for me, I've replaced athletic competition with business competition. So when it doesn't go right in business, then it's, well, let's just work harder at this.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always work.
Do you miss the more athletic side?
Yeah, absolutely. Knocking somebody's head off is the best feeling in the fucking world.
Dude, I wish that my high school had a quick subject change. My high school had a rugby club.
Yeah.
And I just never, I don't know where my head was then. I never got into watching them and getting into it. Now I wish I had. It's
the rules are a little hard to grasp. You gotta watch a few matches with someone who's played, and they can walk you through it. And a couple high level matches, so you get all the camera angles.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, what? I don't understand. But football came from rugby. Teddy
Right.
Roosevelt said, we're putting a line of scrimmage on this son of a bitch, because he was seeing dudes just getting stomped the whole 9 yards, and he said, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're gonna play football. So for all the really good things Teddy Roosevelt did, I don't know if I agree with him on that one, but
But
It's an awesome game.
right?
Yeah, football's a good deal. I think that football concerns me because the concussion thing is real near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And there's like some very, very simple things you could do to fix that. For example, in rugby, you cannot turn your body into a missile and just hit someone. You have to wrap them up in every tackle.
Okay.
So these ear hole shots, or they outlawed this 2-3 years ago, but the quarterback throws an interception and he's just kind of jogging, looking at the play, and a DB or a lineman just crackbacks on, just decleats him. And they said you can't do these blindside hits anymore. If they would just make guys wrap up, it would
change it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
That's not going to change though, like what happened to Tua earlier this year. where
Oh
he gets
yeah,
slammed on the ground.
that was a mess. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then he played 4 days later, and then pretty much had a seizure where his fingers were
I don't mean to laugh, but like,
horrible.
come on, guys.
It's
I mean,
terrible.
the amount that the medical staff gets paid. Come on.
Well, yeah, they
But
want to
then the rest
win.
of the- yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, where conspiracy theories start and stop. I don't know. I mean, the NFL hid the long-term effects of concussions for a long time, so players didn't know.
Right.
They had no idea. It's for sure a concern. But yes, back to your question, absolutely, because the competition in sports. So if you ride your horse, did you ride it competitively?
Oh yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
still?
I don't. We're pretty much retired. We went to nationals a ton. I was very fortunate. I've been competing since I was 8 years old.
Wow.
So, but now I have two, and my mom actually rides with me. She competes as well, but our horses are 17 and 18 years old. And then the level that I was doing, I mean, I wasn't Olympic level by any means, but the level I was doing took 5 days a week and then a show every month and lessons every week and just like boom, 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 boom.
But competition all the time, so you had something to look forward to all the time?
Oh, it was a fucking blast.
And a way to measure
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah.
Because in business, you measure yourself by the bank account.
Right.
But that's not always a true indication of how you're progressing in business. There might be all of these other key predictive indexes that you're hitting that don't exactly show in the stacks in your bank account.
It's so hard.
It's very hard. That's where you got to dial in what your boy Saban always says. Trust the process. Your buddy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Saban.
Yeah.
No, that's one thing I've definitely, since I went to therapy and everything, learned that, hey, like what I feel I'm good at is connecting with people and getting them to open up to me and working on their fitness and then themselves. And that's hard, and I haven't exactly found out how I want to scale that in a bigger way. So, yes, I make good money. I'm happy. I'm lucky and fortunate and all those things. But I'm not making the money I thought I would be making, right? And to sit in that and know that I'm very successful in what I'm doing. I think I'm incredibly good at what I'm doing. So it's, hey, you're helping these people in a way you didn't think you would, and no, that's not coming out money-wise like you had wanted, 5 years ago. But you're creating this specific craft that not many people have. So that's okay. If that's what you're put on this earth to do, that's absolutely fine. So it's sitting in that's been hard.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure to some extent you understand.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
In my business 3-4 years ago, I decided I'm going to build a team and I'm going to try to scale this thing up. So with the team comes all the human resources drama, all this stuff. You got to hire people, fire people.
How's that? Are you good at that? Or are you bad at that?
It is what it is.
That's not a
Are you okay? Are you helping us win? No. What's the goal? To win. Do you think you should still work here because of what you just did? No. Have a good day.
Okay, see that then I don't want to say you're good at it, but
Not naturally. I can tell you that I'm not
Okay.
I'm not a natural delegator. I am
Yeah.
a natural leader, 1,000%.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like you are okay with, hey, you're not helping the end goal. Like that's fine. Go away.
Yeah, because I am obsessed with team. I think that team is something that we all need. I think that, and I've competed in singular one-on-one sports, which are awesome. But the training and the build up to those, whether it was a fight or some sort of powerlifting competition, you're still training with other people. They're encouraging you. They're breaking you down. They're telling you what you're doing right or wrong. If it's a team that is a family, or if it's a team that's a marriage, you both have to be on the same page, on the same team. If one person is doing something that's leading to losses over and over, I mean, what's the point?
Right. Yeah.
But with teamwork comes a lot of disappointment, because not everybody is into it every day.
That's
Sometimes
true.
I'm not, you know?
Same. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Same.
And you just, I will say that when you're around other positive people, you said it's about who you hang around with, or other people who have found a way to get a certain result. The exchange of energy there is different than when you're around a bunch of people who are just gimme, gimme, gimme all the time.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that negative energy goes into everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. We were laughing because, the group of guys that I work out with in the mornings, we're probably too negative. We bitch about all the aches and pains and we don't want to do this, we don't want to do that. And, we're all seasoned CrossFitters, so everyone's broken in some way a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, it's hard, and I actually remember talking about that with my therapist, and she's never been down that road. She's never been in sports and those things, and she doesn't, I guess, understand that dynamic. So she actually looked in, and she's like, "Oh, Nicole, I think you might want to step away
Really?
from this group." Yeah, but it's
She came and visit you and watch you guys?
You just told her. I went through each person of the group,
Yeah.
and I was like, this person's got this broken, and he bitches about this,
Yeah.
and whatever. But it's just what you do.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how when we have a day where we're all kind of on, all cylinders going, everybody's feeling good, nobody's hurting. We all do 10 times better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I laugh about it, but it would be great if we kind of kicked out that negativity.
Yeah, I think pointless complaining is a total waste of energy.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten a little older, I've been like, damn, I got to watch my energy. I used to be able to just go all day, every day, fly off the handle at somebody who needed it, hug somebody who needed it, run somebody over who needed it, whatever. Now I'm like, not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth it. I need this. I got to conserve this so that when I get home, I'm there for my family. Right? Because otherwise, I just show up, end of the day, I poured it all out at work or back when I was playing on the field, and then I'm worthless.
Yeah.
And then you're not part of the most important team, the people who have your back through thick and thin and believe in you when you don't believe in yourself.
Right.
Because confidence is awesome, but it wanes. It's not always right there.
No.
At least not for me.
No.
I don't think it is for anyone.
No.
Yeah. Some of the strongest people in the world, it's a show. They're convincing themselves as much as they're convincing other people.
Oh.
And sometimes you need a soft place to fall.
Yeah.
I've
spent a lot of my life putting up that front of like, oh, she's so confident. Oh, she's got her life together. Yeah, fuck no. Absolutely not. I definitely have my life together a lot more than I ever have. But, I would be lying if 5 years ago I was like, oh, yeah, I'm the most confident chick. I walked around high school like I owned that shit.
Yeah, you kind of have to, though.
But
yeah.
No, but I was like, oh no, I'm gonna, if I want to date that 20-something-year-old, I'm gonna go get him.
You were one of those high school girls. All right.
I was a mess.
I went to high school with girls like that.
I was a mess.
Yeah.
I walked around in heels and whatever I wanted to wear.
You were a self-described mess.
Oh,
bro.
Yeah. I was. But I wouldn't change that for the world. But it's funny how much I altered, the external. I would wear pencil skirts and heels and all this stuff and try to look like I was in my 20s. It's like, honey, you're 15.
Yeah.
Calm down. You got plenty of time before you need to grow up.
So you're from Louisiana.
Yeah.
How do you say Louisiana?
Louisiana.
You don't say Louisiana?
No, or Louisiana.
I don't know.
Hell no. Wait, how do you say New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not New Orleans.
Well, actually, one of my good buddies is a comedian down there, Chris True. He's actually the only... He's the only virtual podcast I did after the last hurricane that hit down there to help him
Yeah.
But he came up and taught our entire team some improv tricks and stuff like that a couple of months ago. He's awesome.
Hell yeah.
He's hilarious. He runs a comedy club in New Orleans, so he's the real deal. He's great. You grew up in New Orleans, pretty conservative upbringing?
Well, I actually grew up outside New Orleans.
Okay.
A town called Opelousas.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm more familiar with like North Louisiana because we always played
That's
like
not Louisiana though.
yeah, we always played like law tech and stuff in
Ew.
college.
Anything north of Alexandria is not Louisiana.
I don't know. It's
For the
pretty in there.
It's not. It's not.
What makes it not Louisiana?
It's just not. They're not the same.
They're not the same. Wow. I don't know if people in the great state would say that about other people. I mean, in Dallas, we bag on Houston people.
See?
And Houston people bag on Dallas people.
Yeah.
Sohill maintains that Houston is cooler and better than Dallas, which Dallas is very corporate.
It is very corporate, yeah.
But what was your point again, Sohill? I disagreed with it so vehemently, I just dismissed it in my mind.
I think food, diversity, culture, like I said museums, but that just like in general.
You're trying to tell me that Houston has more culture than Dallas-Fort Worth does.
Yes.
Oh.
God damn. I'm not sure. Again, yeah. Well, I'm not
I mean,
native.
they're all great. I mean, they're better than most other cities. So
Yeah. It's just an interesting take. So,
I don't know enough about Houston to even throw my opinion in this.
you know, there is an area down there, a natural reserve, like a nature preserve, where in this triangle, there are more breeds of birds in that square mile area than
Wow.
anywhere else in the world because of
Wow.
the divergence of fresh water into the Gulf. Because my parents lived down there for a while, consulting and building some schools. And yeah, it's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. It's that like tropical climate meets this Texas. What brought you to Texas from Louisiana then?
Actually, most of my family had moved here.
Really?
Yeah. My full brother moved here for college. He went to UTD. And my half brother moved here, medical sales. And then my parents retired here. So I was basically the last one there.
Gotcha.
And I got my divorce. And I had kind of thrown everything in and was like, I'm going to buy the gym that I'm working at. I'm going to just like go for it. And I got shut down with that. So,
Really?
yeah, he wanted to go into business with me, not me take the business. And I didn't want to do that. I like having my own thing. So, anyways, I don't know if you've ever spent much time in Louisiana.
I mean, I've been to several Sugar Bowls and stuff like that,
Okay.
but not really around.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. Like, one of the biggest things I miss from there are the people. The people are incredible, but time stands still in Louisiana and nothing progresses. So I felt very much stagnant. I mean, I could have made something there, absolutely, but I think I needed a new place, a new scene, and Dallas is just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of perfect for me
Yeah.
where I'm at. Yeah.
When did you move here?
3 years ago next month.
3 years ago next month.
Yeah. So right
2019?
right when COVID hit.
Hot damn. So you moved here to try to pour a little gas on the business fire right when everything got shut down then?
Yeah, well, I was working for Trophy Fitness. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. They've got 3 locations, but one's in Uptown. And I was working there. And I told them in my interview, like, hey, guys, for the record, I don't intend to work here for a long time. I want to do my own thing. So just...
What every boss wants to hear.
Well, I mean, I wasn't about to leave them high and dry,
Right, yeah.
I was like, look, if you don't want to hire me because of that, I totally
Sure.
understand. And so I worked there for, 2-3 months maybe, and then COVID hit, and I started training all my clients out in the park, and I was picking up people out there, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make way more money doing this shit on my own.
Good for you.
So I walked up to manager and boss, sat them down, and I'm like, hey guys, I hope you understand, but I'm also one less person you need to worry about, need to pay. And I told them that, hey, I'll continue to train the people that you have me on for, and once you get somebody to take my spot, no problem. I'm not going to take any of your clients, just do your thing. But they're like, nope, you can pack up next week. And I'm like, okay, well.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
So.
What did you think when the cold came out and they told everybody 2 weeks to fly? I call it the cold.
The cold.
2 weeks to flatten the curve, stay away from people for 2 weeks, stay inside. No one's talking about, I don't know, brush up on your nutrition, work out if you're going to stay home from work. There's no talk in the mainstream at the high levels where we think everyone's communicating right. About lifestyle. There's all this fear for sure. What was going through your mind? Were you afraid of it when it first came out?
No, I mean,
was Purell in the door, out the door?
No.
Clorox wipes everywhere.
Hell no.
Shit. Yeah.
No, I mean, I was fearful of just what it meant. I mean, I didn't know what it was necessarily. I didn't know how severe it was. So I'll say that part I was a little nervous about. But did I think that if I got it, I wouldn't survive? No. I was like, I'm fit. I'm in my 20s. I eat well. Why would I be worried? If it takes me, quote unquote, it takes me. So
yeah,
I was more in fear of what it would do and has done, and I think it's compromised a ton of people's immune system, and not a lot of people have made that healthy change and decided to be more fearful of the government and these kind of things rather than, hey, let me take a hold of my own life and make some better decisions for myself and get fit and get healthy.
Yeah, don't you feel, well, this is how I feel about most people's view of government, especially your high levels, like your president position. I just want somebody in there who I can be confident in, who can just be my daddy. I just want them to be, whatever they say goes, they know best. And that whole part of my life, I don't have to worry about, and I can just concentrate on getting that new Range Rover or whatever the hell everybody's shooting for.
Yeah.
And if the past 2 to 3 years haven't shown everyone that, no one has it figured out. No one has life figured out.
Right.
Because we can't talk to anybody who's done life and is done with life and can look back and go, watch out for that, watch out for that, watch out. That's what's so cool about plant medicine to me, because I think there's some communication there outside of our consciousness that we can connect with and be like, whoa, never thought of it from that angle because I was blocked off. It's just insane that, hey, if the government says it's unhealthy or a problem, I totally believe it. Or if they say this is healthy, like, I don't know, the food pyramid or just whatever, then I'm going to buy into that. It's disturbing. And also how effective fear is. Fear is, it's unreal, right? It's so effective. It's amazing. It's great. It's like it was like an experiment, and we're all like, "Holy shit, people
this
are."
This is what we're made of.
Whoa! Like, what are we doing?
Yet it's it also, a quick side note that scares me. So the Taylor Swift stuff, right? Her breaking Ticketmaster and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I did not know this girl had this much power.
Oh yeah. Which
is scary in itself.
Well, we're gonna research that, and we're going to investigate that. But I don't know, the Epstein lists. No big deal. The Biden laptop, no problem. Just whatever. Russia. Oh, not Russia. Whatever. It's just insane. That's why I've just taken a total step back from the news. I don't even.
No, it's.
The news is like sugar. If I start watching the news, I'm like, what? And then what? You take a step back from sugar, and you actually don't need it if you can leave it alone long enough. It kind of dissipates that you want. I still need some of that. I still need some Talenti. What do I get? The Roman raspberry with no dairy in it. Yeah, it's sorbetto. Well, that's
okay.
Sometimes
Sorbetto.
It's all they have.
Okay.
They have a peanut butter one with no dairy in it though.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty legit.
Yeah, because I can't do dairy.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, see, I'm not going to waste calories on fruit.
Fruit?
No, I love fruit. But as a dessert?
Fruit dessert?
Absolutely
So
not.
what you do is you get the vanilla and the raspberry, and then you have them together.
It's
a reasonable
chocolate.
workaround. I get it. You ladies and your chocolate. I totally get it.
That or like cookie dough or something. Something good.
No, I feel you. Yeah, there it is right there. That's everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah. That's good shit. But it does have sugar in it.
Okay.
You don't do dairy. We talked a little bit about food sensitivity. That was something.
Yeah.
Did you take a test for that?
Yeah, I did. I've actually done it twice, and it changed my life.
Really?
Quite a bit. Yeah. Now some of it I'm pretty lenient on. Have you ever done it?
I just did with Blake.
Ooh.
Yeah, and my results are in, so I'm talking to him tomorrow at 1.
Shit.
I know it.
Did you see him yet?
Yeah, I have not seen him.
Okay.
No. I don't do dairy, gluten, soy, or corn anyway, ever. But I do use goat milk, goat cheese.
Okay.
And I got a feeling that that's probably no bueno for me.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm hoping like fuck that eggs are on there, so I don't have to eat eggs anymore.
You don't.
I hate eggs, man.
Then why do you make yourself eat eggs?
I mean, that's it's a good source of protein.
It is.
But like if I make a fried egg, I put like half the black pepper shaker on there.
Ew.
Yeah. 100%. Not an egg guy.
I feel like there are better things you could eat.
Well, when I connected you with Blake, he had connected me with Brooke and Luke, 2 trainers. And Luke said he was at all eggs all the time. He got tested. They said no more eggs.
So that's one thing I found. I looking at quite a few people's results is a lot of times when you just consume a lot of the same thing, you end up developing like a slight. You're not going to be totally, against it, but you'll have a slight intolerance.
What are you intolerant to?
So my
Besides
biggest
liberals.
ones. Well, yeah, that's a big one. So it comes out, I don't know, it may be the same for you, but it'll come out in like a red category, an orange category, and a green category. Well, in a yellow and a green. Red is an absolute no. Orange, mild, or moderate. Yellow, mild. Green, absolutely good. So my red is definitely dairy, white potatoes. Weird. Yeah.
Very.
White potatoes, button mushrooms, kidney beans, and apples were on it. I've kind of gotten out of that. I can eat those.
So you can eat that gift you got then there the other day. Your teacher
I got
apple.
that, and I was like, do I chance it? Because you may have done something in this.
Was it even a good one?
Yeah, it was actually delicious.
Yeah. You think you might have done something to what? Like injected
still
with
alive.
fentanyl or something? I don't know. Guess that's a good litmus test for whether or not someone fucked with your food.
That's how
I'm
much.
alive.
Yeah, I mean, that's how much I love eating. I looked at it and I was like, nah, fuck it. Let's go.
Hey, yeah, like you said, you're jumping in, and if there's water, that's great.
Yeah,
if it's concrete down there,
A
and
lot of times there's concrete, but
we're
hey.
gonna find out.
Was it a Honey Crisp?
No, actually, he said he
Oh.
picked it from one of his orchards, which could have been a lie. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a real weird brag too. Not from the apple tree in my backyard, from one of my orchards, plural. That's awesome. Wow.
I've met some characters being a personal trait.
I can well imagine. What did cutting those things out? Did it do anything to your energy? Did you feel anything right away? And were any of those things that you ate all the time?
Well, that was funny. I started laughing with the doctor that I worked with because everything on my mild list, and she recommended that everything on my mild list I only eat every 3 days. But I was like, honey, 80% of this shit is what I eat every day. It was like chicken, coffee, rice, just basic stuff. And so that's a no-go. But I can always tell. I also can't eat Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, or squash, which sucks because I love all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if I eat dairy, I'm not intolerant, but I will get super, like my whole face gets swollen. I get super dehydrated. I wake up feeling like I drank 3 bottles of cheap wine. Horrible. Same, like I can instantly tell if there were, if I didn't know that something was cooked in butter or something instantly.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Did you notice any like physical changes? Like, did you drop body fat? Did you get better sleep? Had you been anxious, but that fell away when you eliminated some of these things that you didn't know you were allergic to or insensitive toward?
Body fat did not change, but sleep did. I never get great sleep, but yeah, if I do consume those, then I'm so congested that I can't sleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was probably the biggest change, and I'm less irritable if I don't have that stuff. So it's
Less
interesting.
irritable is good.
Because like my dad did it as well, and he can't have folic acid, which is in basic things like spinach.
Right.
So he actually, my mom and I joke, I'm like, you need to cut it out on that because you're an asshole now. Like it changes his personality. That
Really?
much. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's kind of nuts that it's not a little more mainstream figuring out, hey, is what I am actually fueling my machine with, like, kind of killing me.
I think one, it's quite expensive, and two, I mean, who is actually going to be that disciplined? Not many.
Yeah.
And that doesn't, like, I could sell the keto diet to you. I could sell the paleo diet. I could sell whatever, or drink this drink, and that'll get you to lose weight. But the thought of, hey, go spend, $1,000 and learn what you need to stop consuming, and it's probably going to be something that you thoroughly enjoy. Like, I tell people, I can't have cheese. I can't have dairy. And they're like, I would die.
Yeah, that's what most people say to me,
right?
too. Yeah.
So my brother will not get tested because he doesn't want to. It's kind of ignorance is bliss thing. That's what I think. I mean, again, if I walked up and was like, hey, like, this will make you lose weight, this water. Okay.
Easy button.
Yeah, but if I said, hey, you can't go have that Talenti ever again.
Yeah.
Fuck no, you're not going to listen to me.
I don't know. I've gone several months without it.
Without with your fix.
I've been like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to have it. Yeah. 100%.
But you also have a different mindset than a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. To a degree, but it's like it's evolving. I think that it's really weird how our culture programs us. So when from the time you can like walk, you're in preschool, then kindergarten, then grades 1 through 12, then maybe college. At the end of that, if you do go to college, they're like, okay, you're good, Nicole. You are good. This imaginary wall to your highway of progress goes up by like society, and it's get a job, go for it. Get out there, okay, be a productive member of, a battery like the Matrix. Get out there, buy shit, take 2 weeks vacation, buy more shit, earn more money, have a good day. And a lot of people stop because of it's not required anymore. It's not even really like mainstream encouraged. So people who read tend to figure out really fast, there's a lot I don't know.
Right.
People who are curious, people who travel, people who are getting out there. I think that your mind is exactly like your body in that you should always be working it to discover new things, because you never know. Like, what if there was something you didn't even know about that you're like a natural at? Well, if you're not curious and you're not out there trying stuff, you're never gonna know.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the world's greatest female stand-up comic, and you just don't know because you haven't tried.
That's not it.
You
but
should get up there and try an improv or something.
I tried. That's not it.
It's not.
I'm not that, and I'm also not a dancer. I can tell you that. The other day, I was literally like, I'm gonna learn to dance, and I went on YouTube, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna learn this 1 minute.
How'd that go?
Oh man, I laughed at myself for the most part, so that was good.
Yes.
But in an hour, I learned 15 seconds, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this every day, and that lasted 3 days.
I don't. Yeah. I
don't have rhythm.
It's 100% not dancing for me either. I didn't have to try it to know that, though. I just fucking know that it's not that.
Well, I thought I could overcome it, and I probably could, but I don't care about it.
Yeah, you're probably a good enough athlete. You could probably get some muscle memory going, and I don't know, learn the running man or the gritty or something, and throw it down.
But no, you're right though. It's like you got to keep. Well, and that's the other thing is we have so much addicting crap out like on Netflix and in the news and on Instagram and TikTok that it's like consuming junk food. It's the same thing, right? But for your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the mind-body relationship, I don't think is something that enough people take serious. That's something Rick Rubin was talking about. He's like, my mind existed over here. Dude's next level.
Yeah.
Creative, genius, invented like a job. Being a music producer was never a job before this guy like invented it. But he couldn't get his body together ever. So he couldn't really live anything he was imagining. He couldn't get them both on the same page, on the same wavelength. And he felt like he was being stopped. So once he started losing weight, getting fit, working out, feeling more confident, that fed into the mental side, and the mental side fed into the. Is that something that when you have someone come in and they're like, I gotta get fit. Like, I'm sure here in like about a month, you're gonna have a lot of people reaching out. Right?
Probably.
Yeah. Are you preaching to them like, okay, the way you look, if you do all this work that I walk you through, it's gonna change. but the way you feel is going to be so unbelievably different that it's going to turn into you do this, you work out, you train because of how it makes you feel more than how it makes you look. Is that kind of your message to people?
Yeah, and that's something that's developed over time, because I can tell you when I started being a personal trainer, the only thing I cared about was you better be an athlete. I want to train athletes. Like, I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach in the NFL. That was something I wanted to do. So when I started training people that were just your everyday run-of-the-mill people.
CPAs.
That are
yeah.
They're great people, but it was like, what? I'm like, I have to listen to you.
Right.
I have to hear about your bullshit. Oh, no, hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I was also super introverted. Horribly introverted.
Really?
Yes. Like, bad. And at my core, I'm an introvert. But over time and over the years, it's funny how things have flipped. And I absolutely love connecting with my clients and helping grow their confidence through fitness, but also just like, hey, I'm not I don't know everything on this earth. I don't know the exact way you need to progress in your life, but I'm going to hopefully help you. I'm going to hopefully guide you in what I know and what we can come up with together. And now I'm like, fuck, I got to make them work out too.
Yeah. Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah. The confidence piece, I know that's something that you're kind of working into your, your programs, your
Just whatever I'm getting into.
Yeah, your vision for yourself, for your future, for what you're gonna do, as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's if you lack confidence, there's some like real practical, pragmatic things we can do to fix that.
Yeah.
And getting fit is one of those things. For example, if you're like a 5, like a Dallas 5,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty hot. That's like an Oklahoma 10, like 100%. But if you're a 5, but you're fit, you're probably going to be more desirable to the opposite sex than if you're like an 8, but you're kind of soft.
Yeah.
And that probably has more to do with how you carry yourself than actually how you look.
I agree. Yeah, I 100% agree. Because it's funny. I'm sure you've seen the movie Hitch.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I love that movie. I fucking love that movie.
Do you?
Oh my God, yes I do. It's great. It's just it's hilarious. It's good. Will Smith's great. Anyway.
Ava Mendez, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
She looks hot as fuck in that movie. But I was like, man, I kind of want to create something that is like a Dallas version of Hitch. That's what I want. That was just one of those, ideas I had. And I actually had quite a few female friends that would come out with me, and in this whole world where we live behind our phones, no one can talk to each other, right? We go through a dating app before we ask somebody how they're doing at the bar. And they're like, how do you talk to people? How do you do, like, how, I'm like, just be the person you're going to be. Go walk up to them, ask them how they're doing. If they ignore you, fine, cool, move on. They're not for you. You're still alive. You made it.
So you're advising them, like if they see a dude who's at the bar who's too shy to come up to them, or maybe hasn't noticed them, they're supposed to go up there and be like, "What's up?"
If they want to.
If they want to.
If they want to. Now I don't, like, I've never cared if a guy comes up to me or vice versa. That's never. I'm like, ooh, I want you. I'm going to get you. That's just what I've always done. But I think men and women should have the ability, if they want to go do that. Mm-hmm. If you want to wait and have a guy ask you, absolutely, I get it, totally. But you should have the self-confidence that if you truly saw someone that you wanted to talk to, you could go talk to them. And you think
I think a lot of people don't do that because they are really self-conscious. Maybe they don't realize that that the way they see themselves is a little out of whack. Mm-hmm. That body dysmorphia type stuff.
Oh yeah.
Where if you go kick your own mind into line several times a week, like your mind's like, you worked out yesterday and your back's a little sore, but you're like, no, we're doing this, man.
We're pushing through.
Goggins. We're getting after it. There's something that happens in your mind where you're like, you know what, man, I'm not scared of anything. I overcame my biggest enemy, which a lot of people don't realize is their own mind.
Yep.
Did you struggle with some of that, like lack of confidence, body dysmorphia,
Oh, yeah.
any of that time? Really?
Oh yeah, I still struggle with body dysmorphia. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I had multiple eating disorders, exercise addiction, all that. I mean, I'm 150 pounds now. I think I was 132-ish, and I thought I was overweight, that typical thing. And then, like I said, I was super introverted. I would try and change myself to kind of fit whatever situation I was in. I wasn't confident in who I was at all.
Maybe that's because you just didn't know who you were.
Yeah, and I mean, that goes back to the understanding thing. And it's a lot of the crap I've quote-unquote been through has taught me a ton. Of course, it has for everybody, right? But yeah, no, I've definitely, and I think we all go through that, especially in a world that is so superficial on our phones.
Yeah, so do you feel like a lot of that was brought on by all this comparing that we all do? So you're like looking around, like if you go on social media and you look at the photos people put on there, and then first of all, if you think they're real, you're smoking like the medical grade meth. Yeah. They're not real. Like, come on now. And we all, everything is a comparing game because of social media. I mean, if social media ceased to exist, like right now, like we get done with this, we look at our phones, all the apps are gone. I think there's some people who wouldn't know what to do.
Oh no, they'd be completely lost. I which is sad. And I put up a TikTok about that the other day. I'm like, how about we all do an experiment, 6 months, no social media, no dating apps, and see what the fuck would happen.
Right.
Because I think it would be incredible.
Yeah, and how often have you been trying to communicate with someone, maybe you're not even mad at them, but through just writing, through texting or emailing, where you're like, this isn't working. I got to have at least a phone call here to explain what I'm trying to say. Then maybe we'll go back. If it's in business, you should always be documenting. I call it memorializing a conversation. Hey, great to talk to you, Nicole. Looking forward to putting on this $1 million roof for you. Need that $500,000 deposit from you tomorrow. Just wire it here. Have a good night. You know what I'm saying?
No big deal, yeah.
Getting being able to sit down and have a conversation with someone, though, it's a lost art. I mean, even if you're sitting there having a conversation with family over this upcoming holiday or a significant other, pretty rare that I see or hear of people who are like, we just put our phones away at 7 o'clock. We don't look at our phones. We don't do anything. And that's hard to do.
It is.
But it's like at a certain point, the pendulum's going to have to swing back because everything is fucking fake. And
it is.
People are losing sight of that and of the fact that they're just, when you're on social media, you're in a store with your friends.
Yeah, exactly what you were saying.
Just like get out of the store for a while. Don't buy anything for a while.
Yeah. Or just walk through, be on your own, and then get the fuck out.
Sure. So you're battling these like eating disorders. What's exercise addiction? Like you just work out, like you're doing like 4 days or something?
So to give you an example of my daily life in college, I would wake up. Do you remember? I'm sure you remember P90X.
Yeah.
Insanity. Because I was a beach body coach. That's where I started.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sean T.
Yeah.
So I would wake up at 3:30 or 4 in the morning, do an hour of insanity, then go to the 5:30 a.m. CrossFit class, not eat, and then because I went to LSU, go to class. Of course, walk to class, couldn't drive anywhere. Walk back to my apartment after class, finally eat, go ride my horse, come back, go to another class, walk back, then go back to CrossFit, do that again, and then come back home. And then I'd probably only eat 1,200 calories all day.
Yeah.
That was every fucking day. I never took a rest day.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Sure.
And then and then I was bulimic too. So that it was great.
How did you pull yourself out of that? Or did you ask for help or?
What was interesting is I wanted to get super competitive in CrossFit. I was bound and determined. And one of my buddies, Nick Mulbear, he said one thing I'll never forget. And he goes, Nicole, no one gives a fuck about what the weight is on the scale. He goes, they care about what weight's on the bar.
Right.
In competition, right? And I was like, And that didn't kick me out of it, but that was a catalyst to start. And I don't know, it was gradual. It took years and years and years, but I realized how many people I was pushing away. And at the end of the day, I wasn't looking how I wanted anyway. So I was like, okay, Use
It's
your
not
brain.
working. Doing it my way is not working.
Yeah, use your brain. What's going on? Like, and then that's when I got really big into understanding nutrition, and I think that's what helped for the most part. Just educating myself.
In your observation, what do most people not understand about their own nutrition plan? Are they ingesting too much fat? Are they ingesting too much protein? Are they ingesting too many carbs? If we're breaking this all down by macros, I think you're pretty big into macros. Usually when I ask fitness people about macros, the conversation, like, I don't get out of it what I want to get out of it. So first of all, explain macros, and then tell me what you observe to be this missing understanding, or what people don't understand they're having too much of before they start measuring what they're actually fueling their system with.
So macros, macronutrients, all foods are made of carbs, fats, and proteins, okay? And each gram of carbs has 4 calories, each gram of protein has 4 calories, and each gram of fat has 9 calories. So, for example, let's say it takes you 2,000 calories a day to maintain your weight, and you eat 2,100 calories. We're not even gonna get into the macro breakup yet. Like, you're at a surplus, you're gonna gain weight. I don't care if it's chicken, broccoli, and rice, or if it's cookies and cake, like, you're gonna gain weight. If you're eating 1,900 calories, same thing, whatever it is, you're gonna lose weight because you're at a caloric deficit. That's the very basic thing, and that's what I think people don't understand. I think they overanalyze it. Now, if you want to get into the macro breakdown and really focus, like, protein is your number one thing that you need the correct amount. I tend to tell people just try and hit 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, if you're at all active. Now, if you are completely sedentary or stuck in bed for whatever reason, you'll have a little less, but that's not even worth really diving into for the most part. Carbs and fats, whatever calories you have left over, it really doesn't matter to me. That calorie total or caloric total is number 1, protein's number 2, dialing in carbs and fats is number 3, if that makes sense.
It does. How would the regular, everyday Joe Schmo or Karen Schmo figure out how many calories their body just burns to carry out the tasks of the day? Workout aside, strength training aside.
Honestly, you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You really do, because
Call Blake.
yeah, it's a science. It is a science, and it's even something that I can calculate it for you, but it's going to be some trial and error. It's not all, like, I can't use a specific formula that's going to know exactly what you're going to be doing. Shoot, you may be working out or doing a job, like if you go to your sites and stuff and really move around and all that week, you've burned more calories than you typically would. So, hey, that's going to be different. But yeah, you need to discuss with somebody. Now, you can go on and you can find a macro calculator, and that can steer you in the right direction. So I think if you're somebody that is going to educate yourself, you can at least get close enough. But if you're somebody that is just has no idea where to start, then you need to talk to somebody. Like
you talked
Blake.
about some good old Blake, another LSU guy. You talked about these fad diets, keto, paleo, Atkins, just whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can you've seen a lot probably. You probably hear about stuff that's not even that I've never even heard of. People trying anything and everything. Is this all? Does it seem like that's an attempt by a lot of people to get around the training piece of fitness?
Yeah, and to just make things easy.
Yeah.
Right? Because if somebody hands you a list of food and you're like, this is how you get skinny, just eat this. Everybody's like, oh, done. Cool. That's easy. I can suck it up for 6 weeks. I can do that. But it doesn't teach you anything. The reason I love macros is it teaches you, hey, if I go to Christmas, I don't track my macros anymore because I did it for 7 or 8 years straight. So I don't really need to. I know what my body needs. But if I go to Christmas and I want to eat a cookie or I want to eat a piece of pecan pie or whatever the hell it is, I can, because I understand, okay, I've allotted some carbs and fats because that's what's in, let's say, a cookie. And I've allotted those calories that go with it. So earlier in the day, okay, I'm going to eat more protein. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to knock out some of that protein so I have those carbs and fats for later.
Yeah. So it's just like a financial budget.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
have this much to spend every day, when I spend it, and then ultimately how much I spend comes down to,
Yeah, you chip away at
the
it.
action I take.
The thing is, though, and I understand it, weighing, tracking, that's not for everybody. Let's be realistic. It's just not. So what I tend to do with people that can't like manage that, or mentally that's just not there for them, I'll have them be aware. I'll say, okay, suck it up for a week. Just be aware of what you can consume. Because a lot of people don't understand, hey, when I go to Starbucks and I get this caramel macchiato thing, right? It's like 750 calories.
Yeah.
You hadn't even eaten anything.
Right.
Right? And then they get their croissant and they're this and they're that. And you're like, you've had 3 grams of protein and 1,200 calories.
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing. People just don't get it. Like, they don't. 2 Oreos is 140 calories. I mean, that's insane. That's 2 bites of food.
Right.
So I tell them to suck it up, and whenever they do that, I typically get the text, "Oh, Nicole, whoa, I didn't realize I was eating that. I didn't realize this, how can I exchange that for something less calorically dense?" And so it's that learning curve. And then once they've done that, then I typically implement intermittent fasting because that at least gives them a window, and I get them to, at minimum, hit their protein goal. That's number one. So the timeline, or the crunched in timeline to eat with intermittent fasting typically is people aren't going to overeat.
Yeah.
And so then if they focus on protein, then they're probably making healthier decisions. So they end up losing weight.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I don't think a lot of people understand how caloric alcohol is either.
Oh, yeah.
And that your body just...
That's another one, yeah.
Your body is a computer. You put this program in there and your body just goes, oh, sugar, bang, bang, bang. Which it does that with white potatoes too.
Yeah.
Actually, your body just immediately synthesizes. You would be almost better off eating a Snickers bar than a white potato or even a banana. Although the potassium in banana, it's good for cramps and shit like that. But
question, if you had, let's say you had a Snickers, right, 250 calories. Okay.
Can't eat peanuts, but yeah.
But well, what's your favorite candy bar then?
Man, I don't know. Probably Reese's.
Okay. Holiday Reese's?
Yeah, maybe
Okay,
so,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. The Reese's, side note, the Reese's with pretzels in it is the greatest thing.
Really?
On God's given earth.
Is it?
It's so good.
Man.
You should just,
I'm not gonna.
You should,
'cause,
though.
No, it's just full fucking danger zone. Full on.
But
He only eats the football Reese's.
Yeah, that's it for me. Yeah.
But imagine that plus pretzels.
Yeah.
It is. Anyways. But okay.
I believe you.
So let's say that Reese's is 250 calories. So what's the difference between a Reese's that's 250 calories and a thing of white potatoes that's 250 calories?
That's a great question.
From the standpoint of weight gain or weight loss.
How your body breaks it down? Well, you said about 10 minutes ago, calorie is a calorie.
Right.
If it's a calorie of chicken breast or it's a calorie of popcorn.
From the most basics level.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I would imagine, first of all, sugar is like acid for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that people with brain damage know. So I would say that in terms of which one's better for you, probably the natural whole food is probably better for you than this synthetic Snickers bar or Reese's. Or Reese's
Delicious.
with pretzel. Yeah. Let's go back and talk about this coming up to talking to people in bars.
Yeah.
Walking up to my favorite place to get hit on is in Home Depot.
Okay.
Everyone thinks I work at Home Depot. I'm wearing my sunglasses the whole time. I'm not. I do.
So
I'm,
you get hit
I'm
on?
in there. I'm not in there to make friends. I'm in there to find shit,
Yeah.
put it in my truck, and drive away.
Right.
Yes, it's like I have a come ask me
thing.
pointless questions. Yes. So you got to give hats off to these adventurous gals who, that's an interesting deal. I think a lot of guys, especially young guys, they don't know. They're looking around. They're like, how do I act? How can I act? What's allowed?
Dude,
Can I be
yes.
strong? Can I be assertive? Can I be outgoing?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's fake, but I'm like, damn, old girl's got it going on over there. there is so much backlash, or there has been, of usually females saying things like, no matter where I go, I'm getting hit on so much. It's so annoying.
In
Or
the exact voice.
the exact opposite of that, which is no one ever hits on me. All these guys are way too shy because they don't know. I'm at a bit of an advantage because I'm old. I don't know how to talk anymore. Like, I don't know all these new terms, these politically correct. I'm just like, that's
Nope.
yeah, I'm past that shit.
Yep.
So we're just gonna blaze forward. Is there a frustration from the female angle about the fact that it seems like, now we're in the great state, so things are a little bit different here than they are in other parts of the country.
Right.
But there's so much of this woke culture. Is it being toxic and masculine if I go up and tell a girl that she's pretty, or I say, hey, I like your eyes, I want to buy you a steak dinner? Or how does it go? Is there frustration from y'all on that? Is that imagined? Is it real?
It's fun. Well, I think it's just created. I think they're just, honestly, I think a lot of women just create it just for attention. So it's one thing I don't know if you've gone through my TikTok, but it's more focused on kind of being on the men's side of things and standing up for guys. Cause I think men have such a disadvantage right now in that, you don't know how to be. You have to be masculine and emotionless. But then on the other hand, why aren't you crying? Like, you should come up and tell me I'm beautiful, but if you do come up and tell me I'm beautiful, then it's sexual harassment. Like, what do we fucking
or
do?
You're creeping me out.
And it
whatever.
pisses me off. Like, it thoroughly pisses me off because, now no one gets talked to. No one goes and meets somebody out, and it's kind of sucks. It does. And I've always held myself. I walk around and people are like, "Oh my God, you're intimidating." Well, I'm tall. I'm fit.
People say that to you?
Yeah.
You're intimidating?
All the time. All the fucking time.
Interesting.
Yes. And I don't
I get
really
intense a lot.
care. Yeah, I'm intense.
You're so intense. I'm like, okay, was that a compliment? What does intense mean to you?
Yeah.
That's my favorite question to ask people. What's that mean to you?
Well, and my favorite thing is, well, what's wrong with intimidating? If you don't have the balls to come up and talk to me, then
Sure.
you're probably not for me.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Did that took you a minute to get there, though, as you've been learning about yourself and so on?
I don't know, because like I told you when I was in high school, for example, like don't judge me, I went to a Papa Roach concert and sang my heart out in high school.
No judgment.
And there was this super attractive guy standing right in front of me, and he kept looking back, and I was like, fuck it, I want you, so I'm going to talk to you. So I grabbed my phone. Right, we're at a concert, you can't really hear anything, and I typed out on a text message like, hey, I think you're really fucking hot, I would love to talk to you. So we ended up dating for a while, but so I've always had that. But what's interesting is when I went to college, that went down. And then after my divorce and going through therapy and all that, it went back up. So I don't really know what did happen, what changed for me.
I think it's interesting, the whole just the science behind mating. It's all a competition. I think what's happening now, especially in woke culture, is there is this, just like we give participation trophies to everyone, we don't keep score at little kids' soccer games anymore.
Yeah.
Bro, there's a reason why this pro athlete or this CEO is with this beautiful woman, or there's a reason why this beautiful woman is with this dude who's got shit figured out. It's a competition.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get a little overwhelmed by that, or they don't welcome it, and they're like, okay, we're playing for keeps, let's fucking go. Like right now, what am I doing to make myself better?
Yeah.
So to me, I boil everything down by level of laziness, because that's what my dad taught me. Now, everything my dad taught me isn't on the money, but that's true. You lie, it's because you're too lazy to tell the truth. You steal, it's because you're too lazy to go get it for yourself. It all comes back to laziness. So this girl, she won't talk to me, or she put me in the friend zone, but she's banging this guy or that guy, or having one night stands with this guy or that guy. Okay, bro, why you talking about the problem instead of solving the problem? Like that's an easy problem to solve. Either, hey, that's not acceptable to me, and I'm not going to talk to you anymore, or It's 2 hours in the gym, and I'm going to read, and I'm going to start a business, and I'm going to become more desirable. Nothing you can do about being short, and that does suck.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of short movie stars who are on top of their game. The competition thing, though, is something that not a lot of people talk about. That's like, I don't know. I don't know why, because it is a competition. It's like, for example, no one can go with you to a bar and go, Nicole, there's a guy I'm going to introduce you to, and you owe it to me to be attracted to that person. Who you're attracted to, you don't have a decision about that. That's nature. Immediately. That's what gets the ball rolling. Then you learn, is this person a douchebag? Are they caring? Do we share values? Things like that.
Right.
But I just don't think that enough people are embracing that, hey, I would be more desirable if I was more desirable.
Well, because you can't say that, because it's going to hurt somebody's feelings. If I looked at you and you were like, oh, why can't I get her? I'm like, well, okay, let's just say you were overweight or out of shape or whatever. You need to go get in shape. You need to look better. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I think you need to be drop dead gorgeous or shredded out of your mind or anything like that? No, but you have to look like you take care of yourself, because, yeah, you're right. It comes down to science. It comes down to mating. It comes down to, who am I going to have a better offspring with? And if you are 200 pounds overweight and you have not the greatest of jobs and you drink every weekend, no, you're not desirable. Because how are you going to take care of me, and how are you going to take care of a child if we have one?
Yeah, and those are all calculations that your mind is making that you're not even aware of when you're in a social setting. Apparently not.
No.
Or you can.
You can.
There's a big movement now with the Andrew Tates of the world, the Rollo Tomasi, even Jordan Peterson to a degree, Kevin Samuels. You know who that is? He died in May. Yeah. So these relationship, like, hard truth guys who are talking to guys, and they're like, you know, you've got to handle your own business, and you've got to bring to the table what you expect back. Nobody owes anything to you. But then that's met with a lot of this, well, that's toxic.
Yeah.
What does that term toxic masculinity mean to you? Because I had migraine expert on here about 2 months ago, and he's big on that. And what he explained toxic masculinity as, I was like, I see your point. I think that term is just thrown around like so many terms, and we don't know what the fuck people are trying to say or what they even mean. Does that term toxic masculinity, what does that mean to you when you hear that?
I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't, to be honest. Like, honestly, it doesn't have much of a meaning anymore, because so many people have thrown it around and that kind of thing. I mean, I would love to say that, yeah, it's just somebody that's overboard in being a man, and they aren't in touch with who they are or their emotions or anything like that, and they're pushing that on people. But to be honest with you, I don't really care about it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, if why am I going to get mad at somebody over toxic masculinity? Okay, he's just got some shit to figure out. He doesn't need to be in a relationship. That's fine. Not a big deal.
Yeah. It's like there's this rush to label people, though.
Yeah.
So I've got to label you, and then I'm gonna slot you over here. You have not progressed. You are behind the times, just whatever it is. And there are a lot of people who are unsure. Like I said before, how am I supposed to act? Like, is this okay? Is that okay? And so the way that maybe your DNA is trying to guide you, if you're a guy, to procreate, to lead, to be assertive, to be ambitious, if that's who you are. There's all different types of men. There's all different types of women as well.
Absolutely.
Then I think it's just that a lot of people don't know who they are, and so they're looking for cues. And now there's fucking cues everywhere. You pick up this, you're thinking inside the box, or you're watching TV, there's cues. Homer Simpson. That is who the father figure has been put. That father figure has been pushed on our culture for years and years. This fat doofus who doesn't know what he's doing. If you look at most programming, has a very weak male lead, whether it's the dad or the grandpa, or they're the ones who have not progressed and who are unintelligent or lazy or out of shape. And so men are lost for who they're supposed to be.
You know what that just made me think of is literally the show Married with Children.
Yes.
Even
Al
all the way
Bundy.
back then.
Absolutely.
God.
That is the perfect example.
Yeah.
That is the dumbing down of the American man to where the American, you're too loud, use an inside voice. That's too aggressive. Be sweeter. Now, being kind takes a lot of strength. Being compassionate and empathetic towards people takes a lot more strength than people realize. That doesn't mean when somebody darkens your doorway at the wrong time of the day or night that you're not mowing them down.
Right.
Right? You know, there's a time to be your primitive self and there's a time to be maybe a more socially acceptable person. But this is the dynamic that we live in now where men and women are trying to figure out who each other are. For example, we don't even know what a woman is. Like, defining a woman now is, right.
Well, before we get into that, like, what I would say to all these people and to all of these cues and things that you're talking about, it's something I preach is, like, be obsessed with yourself. Yep. Learn who the fuck you are.
Yep.
It just...
Cough drop.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
And be confident in that.
Yeah, and okay, like there are traits that are more attractive, absolutely. But if you are a more feminine male, that's fine. Like there's someone out there for you. You don't have to be this grizzly man that goes and cuts down trees and
Yeah, not everybody's a UFC heavyweight.
No, and that's
right.
fine. But stop trying to be that person, or stop. Just, oh God, be yourself, but also don't push it on me. Don't push it on me. So and then that's when it gets into all the what's a woman and what, it's like, cool, go do your thing. I don't care, but I don't have to celebrate you. You're not celebrating me.
Right.
I mean, I look as generic as the next, white blonde personal trainer. Cool. That's fine. But you're not celebrating me. So why do I need to celebrate you? Just because you changed your gender or you did whatever.
Well, yeah, and it's hey, if those are your ideas and those are your beliefs, you have every right. But I don't have to. I don't have to agree with them.
Right.
And we're so afraid of hurting feelings. What about the Rogan Dr. Phil podcast?
Oh my God, that was so good. It's probably my favorite.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
We got a lot. We got so many people worried about hurting feelings, and then I think that when they turn around 20 years later, they're like, man, I didn't live the life I wanted to live
That's
at all.
sad.
Yes, but what other people think of us, the collective us, is so important to us, it seems like. You can say all day long, I don't give a fuck what people think. It better matter to you what at least a few people think about you.
Yeah, you better.
Or you're a sociopath, which we need sociopaths.
Yeah, make
every
the world go
civilization,
round.
yeah. But the I don't know. There's just so many people who are just uncomfortable with themselves.
Well, and prime example of kind of living this life that's not you, but you project it on social media. I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's a warehouse that's opening up, I think actually somewhat near here, maybe, that's got 20 or so odd rooms of just pre-made, like a Christmas setting, Dior setting, all this, and you can go and pay $20 and you can take all the selfies you want. So you can put like you were in New York on your Instagram. It's like, guys, now that's a cool idea for families that want to go take some quick photos. Whatever, that's great. Right. I love that side. And it's a good business idea. But how scary is it that you're like, hey, how are you gonna spend your afternoon? Well, I'm gonna go take all these fake pictures and post it to all my fake friends, so it looks like I do this. Right. Come on.
Yeah.
That's not you.
Right.
Like, I hope when somebody goes on my Instagram or my TikTok or whatever the hell it is, that they know, hey, this is her. This is unedited. This is her. And I hope more people get like that. Was it difficult for you, especially as you've started to make this transition into more of like the relationship and sex counseling? Was this this idea that, well, there's going to be some people who don't approve of what I'm doing here. They think that maybe they have opinions based in their conservative values, or they were raised in church. They don't think that anybody should talk about sex outside of
when or where, I don't know, because we're all like left to figure that. Go talk to 10 people and ask them how they learned about sex. Okay, you got some people, I learned about it in school. I learned about it online. A lot of people learn about it online now.
Yep.
I learned about it from my parents. I learned about it from my older brother, whatever. So everyone's learning about this stuff. They're trying to figure out your body's on autopilot, especially when you're growing up, you're going through puberty, you're trying to figure, okay, what's up? What's going on? Where am I at? We're so repressed to this degree where we will go, you can put 9,000 datelines up about murder, but anything about sex just gets absolutely castigated by the right, usually.
Yep.
That's not family values. How do you make a family, motherfucker?
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, we can't talk about the one thing that's created us all and is probably the most important. It is the most important thing for our civil. What?
Yeah, and the thing that has been responsible for the rise and the fall of so many civilizations. Just think about Helen of Troy.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're preaching to the choir.
Well, have you gotten any blowback as you've started down this path toward building out that part of your coaching business?
Actually, no. I would probably say 95% of the people I talked to were like, fuck yes, let's go. Like, I don't necessarily, like, they may not necessarily want to be a part of it, not, oh, cool, I don't want to be on your podcast or whatever when I had one, but they fully embraced it. They're like, Nicole, do your thing. Let's go. But I think that also speaks to the people I have on my around.
Sure.
But there have been a few, like a good friend of mine, she grew up, she doesn't practice, she's not super Catholic, but she grew up Catholic and still has some of those old school ideas of, yeah, cool, I'll accept that people are gay, but I don't accept, them getting married or whatever. And so the thought of sex being talked about freaks her out. And I kind of hit her over the head with something. So going back to me being submissive, I listen to multiple sex podcasts and educate myself through that. And so they have pro-dominance and pro-submissives out there so that people that want to get into this lifestyle, they can learn without being harmed by someone. And this dominant, and this is how extreme it can get, is she literally sets her submissives on fire. Okay? And it's completely safe. It's completely consensual, all those things. But I said that to this girl, and she about lost it. And she just immediately went, oh, that's so gross. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand it. And I'm hitting you with something extreme because I want to wake you up. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, like, he got handcuffs on her. Okay, everyone plays around with handcuffs in their bedroom, whatever. That's not a big deal. But, like, this goes so much deeper, and you have to understand that this world is actually almost not, I wouldn't say better, but there's more communication, there's more trust, there's more of all those things in this kink lifestyle that I wish more kind of vanilla heterosexual couples would understand, because these people talk about it, but heterosexual couples typically don't.
Because there's embarrassment and shame about, like, I like this, or I've been thinking about this. Let's talk about this. You're afraid that the other person is going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and, like, they're going to run away. And I would hope that you have a solid enough relationship to discuss it. You may not have to, or may not need to dive into those things. If your partner came home one day after 5 years of being married and they were like, hey, I want to try this. Okay, well, let's have a discussion. This doesn't need to end what we have, but we need to talk about it. Because if you suppress all of that, it's going to show up. If that's true to who you are, it's going to show up. And most people can't talk about that.
And what does it show up as? Sounds like it must be a lot like stress. Like the body keeps score. If you're always stressed and anxious and you can't ever chill, you end up having bad heart issues. You can't sleep. There's all types of issues. Does this suppression of, like, who you really are as a sexual being? Is that how it shows up too?
Oh yeah, and then that bleeds into all your relationships, your friendships, your partner, your everything, and it also leads to a lot of cheating and a lot of all that. Because if you want something bad enough, you're gonna go find it, right?
Because it's easier to go do this with some stranger than it is to talk it out with this person who you feel like. This person, it means the world to me. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to run them off. I'm afraid this could ruin this part of it. I'll just go scratch this itch over here.
Right, yeah. Well, and then there's too that idea that, divorce is the worst thing that you could do. And what's sad is that that's that subject that I go back and forth on. I've been divorced, and you've said you've been divorced. We've been through it. A lot of people have, and it keeps increasing. The rate of divorce keeps increasing, which is incredibly sad to me. But I also think if we were able to talk about these things more, if we were more open about who we are and adventuring out and just communicating, then that wouldn't be as high. So that's a tough issue, I think, that a lot of people don't discuss and don't want to talk about.
Do you think that monogamy is realistic?
Oh yeah, I do. I had that open marriage. I never want to do that again. I am, what do they say? Well, everything has a damn label now.
Yeah.
So I try to stick to whatever. Basically, I'm consensually non-monogamous, meaning I am monogamous with my partner, but we will do things together with other people, and I'm fine with that. I will never be somebody that does things separate from my partner. I don't like that. I don't necessarily, it just doesn't sit well with me. And that's something I've tried to break down as to why. I fully support that about myself, but I want to understand why. No, I think monogamy is definitely realistic if you can talk and learn together and grow together and understand that, hey, we all fuck up, things happen, and understand that person is not going to give you everything you want. They're just not. So you can balance that out with friends that give you, and I'm not talking sexually always. I'm saying like, hey, like maybe my partner is not the person that makes me laugh as much as I want to. Well, maybe I have a friend who's a damn comedian and they fulfill that for me. Or the new thing, everybody seems to be going poly now, so.
Yeah, what's that all about?
I mean, that's, you have 57 labels each person, but it's something I believe is full possibility as well. A lot of people do have poly relationships that you could have 7 partners. You could have 2 partners that you're sexual with and 5 that are considered part of your family, but you're not necessarily sexual with. I mean, it's all over the map.
Isn't that what that FTX kid wasn't he this big crypto thing that just went down last week or the week before?
Oh, I don't know.
He's
poly.
Jacob
No, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried.
Sam, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was living in some penthouse apartment with like 8 other people, and they were all
See, and I love, like, honestly, if you're all true to it, go for it. Do your fucking thing. That's fine.
Right.
But as long as no one's getting hurt and everything's honest.
Well, that's where it falls off the table, though, for most people, right? Like, you know who Aubrey Marcus is? Mm-mm. He invented the Fleshlight, or he ran Fleshlight for a long time.
Yeah.
He was Rogan's first sponsor.
Yeah.
And he started on it. And he just sold on it, like I think last year. Mm-hmm. He talks about that. He was in open relationships for a long time, and they could never keep it on track. Like at some point, someone stops being completely honest, and things go haywire. Mm-hmm. A lot of people talk about, we had a threesome. It wasn't the same ever again after that. There's just all of these like off limits topics that people can't really talk about in the mainstream. So then when they're talking about it, I don't know if they're off talking about it with people who are all about it, but maybe they don't get a voice of reason in there. Is that something that you have to search for balance on when you're having discussions with some of these? And there have to be people who are part of these subcultures who are just way too off into that stuff, and they're not earning a living, they're not going to school, they're off doing this other stuff, which anytime you're out of balance, that's going to show itself in your life, the way your life turns out too.
Yeah. Oh, that's hard. At the basis of, the amount of people that say that it didn't work, what's funny is most of the people that it does work for, they don't really talk about it.
They don't talk
because they don't
it.
feel like
Sure.
they need to.
Right.
So I think that's why there is this stigma of, oh, it's never going to work, right? If you can't stick with that one person, this will never work. And
Right.
I actually know quite a few people that are swingers or they're poly or whatever, and they're happy. They are extremely happy. Actually, my ex-husband, they're swingers, and they beyond happy. It comes down to communication. It comes down to, honestly, if you're with the right person. Because a lot of times people use it as, oh, I want to have this threesome, or oh, I want to do this, because they're not comfortable in saying, hey, I'm not happy with you and what we're doing right now. Which is okay. You can say that. It's not going to end everything. So they go, oh, I want to do this crazy thing. And then they get that excitement that they don't get with their partner that they've had for years. And then they let that destroy their relationship. I think it takes some trial and error. I think you definitely have to go in understanding that, hey, there are going to be some days it's going to suck. It's going to suck, and somebody's going to mess up, and it's not going to go well. But can you forgive that person? Can you communicate? Can you be open? If they're lying to you straight up, then no. I mean, it's never going to work. But so for example, when I had my open marriage, we approached it in, hey, we're going to go about this nice and easy. Like, I'm going to go kiss this guy that I know I've been attracted to for years, and my husband knew him. We all knew that this was happening. And I was like, I'm going to come home, and I'm going to talk to you, and we're going to see how we feel. And it went very, very well. Super well. I was like, great, cool. Okay, you go do the same thing with a girl. Well, he kind of took that and ran with it. And he ended up sleeping with her, which eventually forgave him. No big deal. It was fine. We were able to communicate through it. That's fine. But that would be the worst way to go about it. Because if your relationship is at all rocky, I mean, that little bit of trust that just got crushed, you're done, right? But we were fortunate to get through that. Now what happened after that is he had so much confidence in our relationship, and he was someone that was so laid back. He was like, oh, babe, go do whatever you want. It's fine. Go do whatever you want. Like, have as many boyfriends as you want.
Right.
Who cares? And I was like, well, I'm going to find somebody that cares. And I did. Yeah.
So that jealousy thing's got to be, it's got to be big, or it's got to play a part, right?
Yeah.
I think is something in our DNA where if you're with someone and you go off and you're with someone else and your main person doesn't care, that doesn't piss them off, that's got to be, I think that's an indicator that maybe y'all's priorities don't align.
Yeah. Well, and society has created this stigma about jealousy as this horrible negative thing, and that you're a lesser of a person if you're jealous or something's wrong with you. And so, I mean, I think there's a point of you have so much insecurity. Yeah, okay, you've crossed that line, like, past jealousy. Now we're getting into that, hey, you need to work on yourself. But if you care about someone, I would fully expect you to be a little bit jealous when you think somebody's encroaching on your quote-unquote territory. I'd kind of hope so.
Or we didn't talk this through, and we didn't agree on this, and you went and did this and betrayed my trust to a degree.
Yeah. But it means you care, right? It's just like, I don't know, before you get on a podcast, you may get a little nervous. It means you care. If I went in here and I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. Like,
yeah, man. That to me is the badass part of life. Like, if I went through life and never had butterflies in my stomach, or I wasn't just fucking geeked up to go. I don't know. I mean, that's just always how I've lived.
Yeah.
That seems like a very bummer way to live. Like super even keel. Nothing. You don't get stoked about shit. You don't really get down about anything. And it also seems impossible.
It is. Well, I think you're denying something. You're suppressing something within you. If you don't get excited about something, or nervous, or jealous, or angry, or whatever it is,
Right.
like, embrace it. I mean, honestly, I used to get jealous because I had so many insecurities. I absolutely did. I had this fear of, I'm going to attach my feelings to this person, and they may fully destroy it. Because I may jump in the deep end person. Mm-hmm. And, I'm like, oh my God, you talk to her? Oh my God.
You kind of give them all of just everything that it means to be you, your agency, everything. You hand it over to this person. If this person doesn't respond the way you were expecting or hoping, it just breaks your heart.
Yeah. It's almost kind of a defense mechanism, though, and it's something I've worked on, because it's kind of that, well, here's me. If you don't like it, then fuck off, bye.
Yeah, but there's got to be a certain part where the depth of a relationship isn't really there if you don't feel like you need the other person in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've heard women say, like, I don't want to hear from a guy like, you're my world. I don't want to hear from a guy like, I need you. I don't think that it's codependent to tell someone, like, I rely on you. I need you. You're my sounding board. You're my best friend, just whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's weak. I don't think that puts a lot of pressure on the other person. I also don't think that it's cool when someone is telling you how they feel to be like, nah, how you're feeling is wrong, because, and that's another term that's super popular now, gaslighting, right? Mm-hmm. Someone says something to you, and I think it's the fucking housewives that have made that term. God damn, man. Can we get away? They're doing football commercials now.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck's going on around here, man?
I don't know.
Like, for real. That's got to be hard too, though, because if you're just jumping in and out of bed with people and it doesn't mean anything, and I'm not saying that, like, you have sex with someone, you are telling that person, like, I'm in love with you, I'm going to be with you to the very end, but I do think there's an exchange of energy.
Oh, yeah.
That can't be denied.
Yeah.
That if you're so nonchalant about it, what's the point? Let's just go fishing. Why are we let's what's the difference?
Right, yeah.
There is something different. I think there's something sacred about sharing your body with someone
Absolutely.
as well that I don't think can be denied. I think I grew up very conservatively. It was you do not have sex until you are married.
Oh, wow.
Or you're going to hell type stuff.
That's tough.
And I think that fucks a lot of people up, especially in the religious sectors, because if you're with someone, you don't know if you're sexually compatible with them until your wedding night. How in the hell do you think that's going to last?
There's no way. Again, you're going to be denying something. I mean, I highly doubt you're going to be sexually compatible. I hope to God you are, but
that is a full on, but hope's not a strategy.
Yeah. No, it's not. I just hope for your sake.
Yeah, you're into football. You've heard that shit.
Yep.
Hope's not a strategy.
Not at all. It's
Can't hope and pray. You got to know.
Yeah, and you got to take control of your life. Get what you want.
So it's like this common thread of our talk today is balance.
Yeah.
You don't want to, no one is attractive who's overly confident. That doesn't come across to me. Someone has fake confidence or they're overly into themselves. That's a massive turnoff. They've been told something so many times that it's just also being timid and afraid of your own shadow, not attractive.
Right.
At a certain point, though, we are all human and we all feel an array of emotions every day, but it's finding that balance that is illusory. It was either Plato or Aristotle who said, as soon as man thinks that he has found and established balance in his own life, he's pretending deity. He's pretending to be God. Is your spiritual life, has that grown as this like sexual adventure has begun for you as you've started down this and now you're out there with it and you're gonna make this part of your life moving forward in terms of being outspoken about it, helping people with it, possibly turning it into a business, things like that. Do you ever struggle with guilt? Have you ever?
No.
Yeah?
I really haven't. I think that's one thing about me. I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be. And I mean, I never want to hurt anybody, but it is what it is. If you want to walk away from me, that's fine. There's plenty of other people that support me.
Do you believe that there is, do you believe in the myth that there is the one? Is it a myth? Is it true? The one.
That's a hard...
Because God damn it, if Disney doesn't want us to think that, right? Right, Hitch.
Oh, yeah.
Right, wasn't he after one girl, Kevin
Yeah.
James?
Yeah.
You know that dude's a rad MMA fighter.
Really?
Kevin James is next level. Awesome
Would've
jiu-jitsu
never
player.
guessed
Yeah, I
that.
know it.
Wow.
He's actually pretty ripped.
I
And
need
they
to look
just
this
like
up.
pat him up. Oh, do it.
Okay.
He is. He's got videos that are fucking crazy.
Okay. I had no idea. No, I don't believe there's the one.
Really?
At all. No, I don't. I believe that there are multiple people on this earth that you would work very, very
You'd be
well
compatible with?
Yeah. That you'd be extremely happy with. And I think that I think you definitely fall in love with people. And I think continuing that is something that you grow and you build and you learn about each other. Yeah, I don't think there's the one at all. I hope there's not. Honestly, I hope there's not, because it's pretty fucking depressing that you have to be in the right moment at the right time to find that
Or you're
one
fucked.
person, and if they die, I'm screwed. I mean, that sucks.
It does. I feel like there is just this genuine, like, overwhelming sense of discontent among most humans, at least that I come in contact with. We're always looking over, the grass is greener over there. I just had an argument with her. I'm going to go upload Bumble or Tinder again or Grindr, depending on your game or your preferences. And I'm going to go find a better deal.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you can get where you want to be if you don't go through hard things with people. I think that's got to be somewhat of an agreed upon principle, right?
Absolutely.
Even if you believe this person is not the one, the last person that I'm ever going to be with, and I'm going to be like 80 with this person, but you've committed to one another that we're going to respect each other and each other's boundaries and things like that. We're going to help each other through hard times in business or personal life or whatever. The availability, you can get anything delivered to your doorstep now. You can get beer, you can get bitches, and you can get burgers.
Beer and bitches and burgers.
For real, and brews.
America,
That's
2022.
It's true, though. You can literally go punch a button. It's on your doorstep. You didn't have to leave your fucking couch.
No.
And I think there's like this general overall overwhelming sense of I'm not that interested in being a better version of myself. I can just go find somebody else.
And you can ghost somebody like that.
Cocaine and the booze together. See, yeah, he loves pulling those drops. That one I just said will be a drop in like 10 minutes. And then he plays it when I like have husbands and wives on.
That's awesome.
I'm like, okay, brother.
Yes.
Awesome.
No, it's true. It is kind of sad though, because so many people don't respect what it takes to build a marriage and to do that anymore either, because they are looking through their phones and they're seeing all of these people. They're like, oh, I could have that, but I have this that I've seen for the last 10 years, but that's brand new and shiny, so why not go over to that?
Yeah.
And that's what's sad, honestly. That's what I just wish more people would put work into everything that's before that marriage, truly communicate with that person, test each other on things. You know, like, is this something you really want? Is this something that we could do together in life? And like, I almost wish you could do a trial marriage, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you really could, I
don't think you should get married until you're past the age of 30.
Okay, totally agree to that one too.
I mean, your brain is not developed, especially if you're a male. Women mature faster, they say. I don't know if emotionally they mature faster. I don't know.
I think they're pretty on par. But my ex-husband was 12 years older than me, and
yeah,
I took care of him like a
mom.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it works that works for him, and that's who he is, and that's fine for how he was raised. But I'm like, this is not my jam.
Yeah.
Especially as like a submissive person at the end of the day, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
This doesn't work.
What did you do? Did you take like some sort of personality test to what did you do? You what does a doctor do? They come in, they look at your symptoms, and then they diagnose you. How did you get diagnosed with this title? Your title. What is your title? Explain that.
I'm an alpha submissive. So as an alpha submissive to everyone else around me in my day-to-day life, I'm the confident one. I'm the person you go to, to protect you, for help, for whatever. I try to appear that I don't fuck up and that kind of thing. And then behind closed doors and to my dominant, I am completely submissive. So I'll do what they say. I'll do what they want. They guide me and lead me in a lot of things. And that can also go into business even, because I don't like asking for help. I know I need to. I don't like it. I don't like involving other people in my business life at all. But I like having the guidance from somebody I know that I can trust. And that's typically my dominant. But yeah, it's in that. I mean, for example, we may go out to eat and they'll tell me what to wear, tell me what to order, and I'm happy because it shuts my brain off. It's the one time it just chills the fuck out and I can be present in the moment and I can enjoy because somebody else is making decisions for me. Now, a lot of people hear that and they think that's insane and that somebody's messing with my mind and all those things.
Controlling you?
Yeah, which
Sure.
I've had that. I've had, which I told you, I had those toxic relationships. I had a guy that I was submissive to, and he's like, oh, we need, there's something wrong. You're a little too emotional. We need to put you on medication. Like, it can go down a bad road. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It really can. And that's why you go to professionals and you learn. Now, I never did that. And going back to your question, how I figured this out, when I had that open marriage and I met a guy and I was like, there's something different. There's something different about you. You're speaking to something deep within me that I don't know about or I don't fully understand. And he goes, Nicole, I fully think you're submissive. And we explored that and we talked about it. And it was so freeing. Like, I remember the first night I spent with him and I cried. Like, I cried my eyes out because I was so happy, but so scared because I knew my husband couldn't give me that. He couldn't give me that mental freedom. And it was addicting. It was like a drug. It was this holy shit, this person has figured out something about me that I never want to deny a day in my life.
Did you talk about some of this with your therapist then when you went and talked? How did the timing of that work out?
Oh, this was years ago. So I went to therapy probably, I kind of backed off probably about 6 months ago. But yeah, this was when I was 24. Yeah, I think I was 24. So 23, 24. And yeah, no, that is one thing she couldn't necessarily help me with, was understanding that, because she is Catholic herself.
Yeah.
And when I told her about what goes into a submissive dominant relationship, she was like, well, before I got into all the like,
She wanted to know if she had to call the police.
before I got into that stuff, not even the sexual side, just like the mental side of it, I was saying how much trust it takes, communication it takes, and all this, and she was like, well, Nicole, that sounds like just a very healthy relationship is what you're searching for. I'm like, yeah, but I also want to be tied up and thrown around like a rag doll. So
Right. But that part is certainly salacious to a degree, right? That's what everyone's going to dial in on.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, this is uncomfortable. But the first part of your title, though, speaks to what? The way you do business, the way you carry yourself throughout the day?
everything.
With the confidence, whether it's real that day or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't show a quote-unquote chink in my armor.
Right.
Except to my dominant. He's the only one that can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Or that I want to see it.
Yeah.
So.
I think the thing that gets lost these days, you see people talk about it all the time who are in traditional relationships. We're doing date night. We're gonna get someone to watch the kids. We're gonna focus on each other because I think people get a little. You have kids in the mix. It's hard to keep priorities straight. If you're with someone, you started a family with them. The way I want it to be is, I mean, you're first. Mm-hmm. We got kids. They are a priority, but you're my priority first.
Right.
That's what was modeled for me. That's what I feel comfortable with in terms of how I think that it should go. What I think is ideal. Dating that other person, trying to impress that other person, evolving as your own person, though. These are all things that none of that I just said is easy. There's no easy button attached. That's all hard work.
Yeah.
That's got to be something that you advise some of your clients toward. Hey, if you're into someone, let's make sure they know that they're not taken for granted. I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yes. Yeah, that's like you said it. Keep dating your partner. Keep doing things. I mean, you don't have to pull out all the stops all the time, but do something a little bit different every now and then. Change up the schedule. Go somewhere different. Wear something different. I don't know. Change your cologne or perfume. Like anything.
Keep trying to impress that other person.
I mean, keep not reinventing yourself, but I mean, if you've got some clothes on the floor and they've been there for the last month, you don't notice them anymore, right? It's the same thing with your partner.
Yeah.
If they come in doing the exact same thing, asking you the same questions every day, like, you're not going to notice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. Conversations, like people's conversations tend to just kind of suck. You know, you come home and your partner's like, hey, how was work? Oh, it was fine. How was work? It was good. Like, okay, no, I want to know you. Like, I want to know what gets your brain going, what you learned today, what, you know. Like what I had a great conversation with one of my clients the other day about, he walked in and he goes, I have a whole new stance on free will. And I'm like, I'm fucking interested in this. But if he walked in and goes, yep, I got work today. Okay. Is it the same thing with your partner?
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, I have people on the podcast from time to time. I'm pretty amazed by the lack of depth there. I'm just like, gosh, dang, like we couldn't really get granular on much of anything. Everything was real surface level, and it seems like that's where they're comfortable, and that's not interesting to me.
no.
Interesting to me is these way off the beaten path things that are interesting.
Yeah, well,
that are not just
that you can't get from anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to make yourself stand out, and that takes work, like you said.
Yeah, it takes work, and like you said about nutrition, training, the lack of an easy button is why most people tap out.
Yeah, it all connects.
Right?
It all connects.
You want to have kids someday,
Yeah.
I assume. Start a family.
Yeah.
Does it concern you at all that maybe if you had a daughter in 10 years, she could find some of your content online? Does that concern you because you just feel free and you're just at this level where you really don't give a fuck?
I don't give a fuck. I don't. I mean, so actually one of my the ex that I was with that ended up being married for 2 years. So he went on this like.
Wait, you were dating someone, they were married for 2 years and they were married?
I didn't know he was married. Yeah, I didn't know he was married, and I broke up with him.
Wow, what a con.
He lived in Louisiana. He
Yeah.
would drive here. Yeah, before I moved, we dated for a little bit, and I broke up with him. Anyways, he became my best friend and all this. Quick summary, I broke up with him. He drove here, broke into my apartment, put a tracker on my car, like all these things, and then created these fake personalities online and tried to destroy my career. Like, just off the wall. It finally ended. It took about a year, but yeah, it was a lot. I would get about 6 emails a day for 8 months from this fake person.
Do you have a gun?
Well, no, I don't, which is
That's probably something you should remedy. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you're in the right place.
It was funny, the guys at this automotive place that I went to, which thank you Texas for this. I went up, they tried to get my tracker out of my car. We couldn't find it, but they're like, honey, if you ever think he's coming, just drive on over here.
Yeah.
We're all packing. We'll all shoot.
Absolutely.
I was like, fuck yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot. I forgot where I was going with that, to be honest.
Yeah,
with
I don't remember. Oh,
if your daughter.
Yeah, when you have kids, this
Yeah, so he in one of his tactics to, I guess, quote unquote, end my career, he sent out some naked pictures and videos of me, and I was like, dude, okay, like it's me naked,
right?
Like, who's gonna do anything? I have my own business. All of my clients don't give a fuck, and it's a naked body. We all do this.
Right.
Who cares? Also, it's illegal.
That is illegal.
It's very illegal,
Yeah.
so bring it. And I had posted this. I did a boudoir shoot, and I posted one of the pictures. Actually, he took it. He was my photographer. And I posted it on my Instagram, and I was like, dude, fuck you. I'm going to call you out. Everybody's going to know what you did. And just, like, you're not going to affect me.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't. I think that would be a hard conversation to have. Of course it would with a child. But I think I just see it as such a simple thing and such a basic human function, and you should be proud of your sexuality and who you are, so whatever.
It seems like sex and the sex life of people is more or less important to some than it is to others.
Yes.
Do you think that everyone has innately about the same desire levels, or are there some people who have way more of a drive than
I think
others?
there's definitely people have more of a drive.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't think that should affect how open you are about it and talking about it. So, like, in Europe, they are way more open.
Way.
And, I mean, I don't have the stats on me, of course, but, like, the teen pregnancy rate and all that is way less. And STD transmission is less and all that because they actually talk about it.
Yeah, they do the same thing with alcohol over there.
And
there's not these weird legal day, you're legal on this day, you got to go get plowed. It's this weird taboo subject, and then people don't know how to handle it when they're 21. You can go fight in a war.
Right.
When you're 18, you can't drink a beer.
Which is insane.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Which I think my parents on that one, like, I mean, also growing up in Louisiana, I mean, we started... embarrassing how young we all started drinking and smoking. But yeah, I mean, I was fortunate because they let me do all this stupid shit in high school. Mm-hmm. So honestly, by the time I got to LSU, I was like, oh, I'm kind of done partying. Yeah. I'm good. Like, I'll have some drinks, I'll do my thing, but getting shit-faced and blacked out and, you know, doing that was reserved for high school, which was good because I had people to protect me.
Yeah.
I came home to parents and they knew what I did, and they didn't know about all the parties I threw, but they knew about my fuck ups, and they were like, hey, look, we're disappointed in you for this. Fucking fix it. And then we're good.
What do you say to people, especially women? Maybe you're going to coach them. Maybe they want you to coach them, but they're just like, well, but Nicole, it's different for me. I don't look like you. I don't carry myself like you. I can't do what you do, and I still can't meet anyone. I feel like I'm between, because I feel like that's where internet dating started. You can't meet anyone. No one comes out of their house. If you live in a neighborhood now, you don't even know who your neighbors are. That's just the way it is. True. So actually meeting people, it just became like this necessary evil on these online dating sites, which now have become, to me, somewhat problematic because, like I said before, everyone's always looking over the fence, which I already defeated that argument by saying you got to just welcome the competition. And unless you just want to go be a hermit and live in a cave, if you want to be desired and you want people to be attracted to you, you better do the same things that you're attracted to. Yeah.
Step up your game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But if someone can't meet people and they want to meet people, what's your advice to them?
Well, one, I'm going to question, how do you feel about yourself? You know, if at the end of the day you don't like how you appear, or you're just not confident in who you are, then we need to sit with you. You don't need to worry. I mean, go try and meet people, of course. Like go do things that are important to you. So if you really like soccer, go find some soccer league to join. Find some people that are interested in the same things as you. But you need to say, here I am. This is me, and I like who I am. I don't think you need to shout it from the rooftops. I don't need you to be like, I'm Nicole, I'm an alpha submissive, you better love me and who the fuck I am. Like, no, you don't need to do that. But you need to be confident in who you are, and you project that. You don't have to be this rock star looking model. If you're confident and like truly confident, not a fake confident, it's going to read and people are going to be attracted to that.
Don't you think a lot of confidence comes from things that you've accomplished, though, as a person? Like a lot of people, I don't have any confidence. Well, what have you ever done, man?
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you get out of bed at an early hour? Do you get shit done? Do you work out? Do you do anything hard at all throughout the day? We drive everywhere. We get our food delivered. Most people don't even cook for themselves anymore. Like, do you do anything at all that's challenging that you could be proud of yourself for? That then maybe you don't feel confident, but you've done these things and you just start carrying yourself differently. Your head's a little higher, your shoulders are back a little bit, you got a little spring in your step, even if it's unconscious.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. And prime example, it's funny how a lot of my older clients, they come in to train and I don't care if they're sick, I don't care if they're throwing up, whatever it is, they're pushing. They're there to work, they're there to accomplish something. Most of the people that I train that are in their 20s, it's like pulling teeth to get them to try. And one of my girls, who I love to death, and she works her ass off, don't get me wrong, but when I need a 10, I mean, she's learning to Olympic lift. I mean, that's a hard thing to learn, especially once you're already grown and in your 20s. She consistently gives me a 7 effort. She very rarely gives me more than that. And the other day, she finally had things click. And I was like, you have to be intentional with what you do in lifting. And I mean that, and then we started connecting it to life. But to learn to do a snatch, like you have to be really fucking intentional, really focused, really wanting to do this. And she finally did. And she goes, man, why is this clicking today? And I was like, because you fucking tried. You tried. You gave me a 10. Now you need to do that every damn time.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to feel accomplished. That's how you're going to gain confidence. Because she's one of those people, around me, she's great. She's like, I'm going to be the girl I'm going to be. But you take her to a bar, she's going to wear an oversized coat. She's going to wear heels that are about an inch tall. She's going to wear jeans that aren't fitted. And she's going to stand in the back. And it's like, are you confident in who you are? I don't think you are.
Yeah, I think a lot of people too. They want to seem cool, and they want to seem like, I'm just a part.
Yeah.
They're not comfortable at all standing out. I know you don't like Saban. I don't much either. But one thing he talks about is not recruiting players who are too cool. They're just too cool.
Yeah.
And I played with guys like that. Just a little hustling all out. It doesn't look cool. So I'm just not going to do it. Playing with people like that's a major downer. Being around people like that in life too. Like I might trip and fall. If I trip and fall, I'm knocking all my teeth out, man. I'm going as hard as possible.
Give it hell.
Let's go. If you're going to make a mistake, make it at 100 miles an hour. And maybe it's just that people aren't at their rock bottom. Do you feel like you've hit, in your life, you have hit a rock bottom a time or two?
Oh, yeah. And so, I mean, certain regards, yeah, for
sure.
To
where then you were just like, I don't have any fear because I want to be successful. And I know that what that's going to take is just my best every day. I'm the only one who knows what my best is. I'm the only one who knows if I really put it in or if I mailed an hour in here or there or whatever. And when I keep those promises to myself, that's when things start to change in the way I carry myself. So then maybe the mate that I can attract is different, or the mates plural are different, or just the energy that I get back from people because I'm not walking around all the time throwing a wet blanket over everybody. I'm walking around with energy to spare.
Yeah.
Is that something that when you're exploring what you're attracted to. Obviously, the physical form is one thing. Someone who's, got the symmetry and got all of that is, but that's, again, the internet, I feel like, skews that so much because you can go meet someone and they check all the boxes. Maybe they're even tall, and then they have the personality of that backdrop. And you're like, what are we doing, man?
So what's interesting is people assume, okay, for me, I'm going to date a fit, tall, confident man. Like, that's what I should be with, quote unquote. Which is funny because I married a guy that was 2 inches shorter than me. He was a tire salesman, like kind of run-of-the-mill guy, great guy. And then the people I'm attracted to, the only thing they have in common is that they have this, I'm alpha, this is me, take me for what I'm worth. So, everybody's got their celebrity crush, right? So I had, like, Jason Statham, that's my dude. Fucking hot as shit. But then I'm also...
What was that?
Sorry. Nothing.
You're throwing me off, man.
My bad.
What the fuck?
The video popped up. That was Lee Bratcher.
That was not Jason Statham.
Nope.
That was Lee Bratcher. Oh, Jason Statham, like the bald guy from like the transporter and stuff. Yeah, all right.
Death Race, yeah.
He's a big time diver. Did you know that? Big free diver.
And he's got a beautiful wife.
Speaking of alpha chads, here you go.
What are we watching? Oh, is that Kevin James?
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I'm telling you,
Fuck yeah.
he can throw down.
Oh, I'm gonna look this up more.
He can throw down 100%.
Dude, that's awesome. But yeah, no, I'm attracted to that. But at the same time, like on my list too, I'm attracted to Gordon Ramsay. I'm attracted to Machine Gun Kelly. Like, I mean,
I don't get that Machine Gun Kelly one.
I know, but it's just this. I don't give a fuck.
Gordon, I understand on Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
He's got a very strong personality. There's no doubt about that. I just feel like if people were a little bit more, like you use this word intentional, I use it a lot too. If they were a little bit more intentional about what they wanted in life and they got a little more clear on that in their own mind, I just don't think that they would. I just feel like a lot of people are really bummed out. Like they feel trapped, they feel helpless. We actually have way, way more control and power as humans than we even think we do. What we eat, listen to, talk about, think, do with our body, that's all completely drink, it's all smoke, it's all completely in your control. Right. Completely. That's no one else's job. That's your job. If you're not happy with your sex life, fucking change it.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with your sex life because you can't get together with people who are at the level of attractiveness that turns you on, then do something about that shit.
Do something about it and stop trying to please everyone. I think through social media we have this idea that we have to put up this fake personality that makes everyone happy. And then that bleeds into everything else. It's like, God, you just be you, please.
Do you get a lot? Do you get any haters, any stuff like that online? And if you do, how do you react to it?
I do every now and then. I very, very rarely respond, but typically, like, probably the last thing I got was this guy, because I have an OnlyFans, and he commented on one of my photos or something that, oh, it's just another trashy girl getting money through OnlyFans for her body. And I'm like, well, actually, no, you don't really know anything about me. Like, hey, for the record, I'm fascinated by sexuality and all that, and this is just kind of a fun little side project. Like, I post on it when I want to, and hey, I may not post on it for a couple months, and I don't care. I don't need this. This is just fun for me. And if I did need it, who cares? Like, you can go make your own. Even if you're a male, there are plenty of successful men on there.
Are there?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, there are tons. Actually,
everybody's into feet, huh?
Well, feet, or you can do the whole, there are multiple guys on there that'll act like a boyfriend. So they will send you voice notes that are like, hey, baby, good morning. How are you?
Come on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, women pay for that shit.
For real?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was the OnlyFans thing something you thought about for a long time and that you were nervous about starting, or was that another
That was a deep
deep
dive.
end concrete or water?
Yeah, well, what I did is I kind of had put, because I'm a bit of a voyeur and exhibitionist. And I thought, well, you know what? This will be fun. I also get to talk about fitness and nutrition on there. I have that as well. And I talk about kink, sex, relationships. I give a ton of advice. And so I actually made quite a few good connections on there with men that were like, hey, I really need some help in my relationship, or my marriage is not happy, and I can't afford a therapist. And so they would pay me to kind of talk about things. So yeah, cool. There's the sexual element, of course, but I only did stuff that was me. I wasn't going out, and like there's people that hire people and they video and they do all that. It's just not me.
Yeah.
No judgment on that, but yeah, it was kind of just a, hey, let's do this. And it got to the point where my heart wasn't in it as much. And so I made a little announcement on my page and I was like, guys, I'm going to step back. I'm going to make this page quote unquote free, but all of the, more nude content, like you have to pay for that part. But I'm going to post when I want. And when I don't want, I'm not going to post.
And it doesn't seem like you're living the I don't give a fuck what people. You're like living that, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I have the balls to show my balls on OnlyFans.
I just don't. I mean,
Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't think I do. No, I don't.
No,
I don't.
Couldn't do it.
I don't think I could put my balls on OnlyFans. I don't know.
Does that go back to how you were raised, or is it if somebody saw that you knew?
I don't know. I think that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty crazy how much content there is out now, how much anti-porn content. What do you think about porn? What do you think about the narrative that women are being objectified? That if you watch porn, you are contributing to human trafficking, that porn can ruin relationships, that you can get addicted to it, that it can chemically imbalance your brain, people say. There's all kinds of, and then you're trying to, as people talk about that, you're trying to say, okay, is there a religion angle on this? Is there a big government angle on this? What's the angle? I don't want to see anybody get trafficked. I've had a guest on who was trafficked. Crazy stories. Awful. Terrible. I have 2 sisters. Do you understand? I mean, I would be in the penitentiary if anyone trafficked anyone I knew. I'm not going giving hugs for that shit.
No.
What do you think about porn?
I think
that was me. Why when I show my balls turned into a what do you think about porn?
I see how you did that.
Bang.
Very well done.
Boom.
That is why he has a podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
No, I think there are definitely good sides to it. I think it's a very good tool in learning about what you're into. I think because I tell people, if you're into, if you saw 50 Shades of Grey, we're like, holy shit,
right,
that is me. Well, let's go educate yourself about it a little bit. And there may be some things you can watch on
Don't you
Pornhub.
Don't you think it says a lot about what you're doing that was so popular and that was such a lightning rod? So many, this is terrible. I can't believe this is getting mainstream. This is those books are bestsellers. There's like 90 of them. There's a whole bunch of sequel movies in there. Dakota Johnson said she didn't want to be. So did the main dude. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to be in the next one because he thought it would typecast him for the rest of his career because all the negative publicity. Sex is made into this big, dirty, sinful thing, and without it, there's no civilization.
Yeah,
it doesn't. 2 and 2 don't equal 3.
So I will say this. I think 50 Shades of Grey was a wonderful thing, and it was also a horrible thing because they depicted a submissive, dominant relationship in a terrible way. Absolutely terrible way. Because they basically made it seem like, hey, girl, as long as you're submissive and you let him throw you around a little bit, he'll buy you pretty things. That's what they made it seem like, which is frustrating. But the good part is that it did open up people's eyes, because I can tell anyone, half of your friends are kinky in some way.
Well, don't they say everyone's got it? Even
Yeah,
Jordan
something.
Peterson says that. Everyone's
Yeah.
got a kink of some kind.
Right. And it's so that's what I like. I like that you can access those things through porn. And eyes were opened with 50 Shades of Grey. I think that's great. I think the way things are depicted in porn is not always that great, because when it is created into a movie, I mean, it's not all realistic at all.
Well, yeah, but saying porn's not realistic would be, and using that argument, be the same argument as saying action movies should be outlawed. I mean, there's nothing realistic
True.
about any movie Jason Statham's been in.
Oh,
He's
no.
flipping cars, and he's like inverted like he's in Top Gun, going off
He's
like
falling off of
cliffs
buildings.
in Cinque Terre, Italy, and yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not
Oh.
realistic.
Yeah, no. And I don't think porn should be outlawed at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. But I wish there was more content that was more realistic in some way. So people that were truly trying to go to it in a more educational sense.
You think anyone's downloading porn for the education of it?
Some of them I did. Oh fuck yeah, I did.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was like, I want to know about this.
Were you breaking it down like game film? You're like,
Absolutely.
run
I had
that back.
notes.
Hold on.
I have a spiral notebook. No,
Hold on. Looks like that. How long do you think that whip is right there? You're like, you got it broken down. Huh. Interesting.
And what about, you were talking about sex ed and, kids here versus kids in Europe and teen pregnancy and all that. A lot of kids, since they don't get that comprehensive sex ed, get it from porn. I think that's what a lot of criticism is that they see that as reality.
Yeah, and I wish that, and then that goes into how we educate our kids about sex and the fact that we basically don't, like you were talking about. I mean,
it's someone else's job half the time.
Yep.
Or the parents are uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, I mean, bless her heart, but my mom literally threw a book on my bed and goes, "Read this."
Yeah.
I mean, I still had no idea what was going on, and that's probably why I kind of just did whatever the fuck I did when I was in high school.
So were you like a hardcore rebel in high school? Were you coming home late all the time? And
I lived 45 minutes, away from my school and my friends, so I used that as an excuse, and I would stay over with whomever I wanted to stay over with.
Yeah, you seem like you were probably fucking
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah,
That was horrible, but
good job. Right on. That's
Hey.
awesome. I wasn't an easy son. That's for sure.
No?
Nope. Not gonna say. No, most definitely not.
interesting.
Yep. I don't know. The whole topic's interesting. When you hit me up because Mo introduced us or whatever, and you said, are any of the topics off limits? I was like, no, none of the topics are off limits. I just don't think that a lot of people are free to talk about them, or it would make one or the other so uncomfortable that they wouldn't be interested in talking about it and recording it and putting it on the internet, because how's it going to make me look?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What are people going to think?
Yeah, I mean, even and this is a great guy, but the guy that did my website, phenomenal guy. But when I created my podcast, I was like, hey man, I want to create a separate website and do this, because I wanted to start coaching along those lines. And he was like, I'm sorry, but we can't associate our brand with that, which totally
Right.
respectful. That's fine. You know, no hard feelings at all. He still runs my other website, but it does kind of suck. And I wish we would be open to those things, but I get it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a conundrum, right? I mean, the way you can't just go, well, let's just follow everything, do everything the way the Europeans do it. When you say Europe too, you're talking about everything except for the British Isles, because, man, Great Britain is as repressed or more repressed than we are. They're
Yeah.
totally like the stiff upper lip is a real thing over there. They
Right.
don't cry, they don't show emotion. Even the younger generation is still that way
No weakness.
to a degree. Yeah. Yeah, well, let's talk about being soft. That was we said we were going to talk about that for a minute. The Goggins of the world, the Rogan,
Yeah.
Rogan's always talking about how hard of workouts he does because he's challenging himself. He's trying to beat his mind every day. Wim Hof, cold plunges, all this stuff. Why do you think that as a whole society, for example, I'm reading through this morning, testosterone levels from the 80s to now in men have plummeted.
What, like 62%
It's
or
insane.
something?
It's insane.
Yeah, I think I saw that stat too.
Yeah. What's going on? Everything's easy. So easy times create soft men.
people.
Soft people create hard times. Hard times create hard people. Because when I say soft, I'm not just talking about like. I'm not just talking about men. I'm talking about men and women.
Everybody.
Yeah. Hey, if there's 5-minute abs, there's got to be 4-minute abs, right? Everything's got to. There has to be a shortcut to fucking everything, which I think probably a lot of people think about. Well, she's off into that stuff because it's exciting and because it's much more difficult to go the traditional route. I would think that would be people's opinion of you.
I get that a lot.
And I would think that what you do is probably actually not that easy. Balancing, lots of personalities. That world's got to be a little bit unpredictable at times.
Yeah. Are you talking just in what part?
Well, I mean, you're seeking to set up this coaching effort where you're going to be helping men and women with relationships, but specifically with the sexual side of it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that people in open relationships, open marriages, or people who are into kinky sex, that is somehow, hey, that's just the easier way. I don't know. I would think that's the prevailing opinion amongst most of your traditional people.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because when you start thinking about the open stuff, it's like, oh, that's just a loophole so that you don't have to be committed to one person. Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Is it the ease with which we can get everything that's made everyone just so unremarkable these days? Like, it does not take that much to distinguish yourself, to rise above your competition if you just try a little bit. Like you're talking about your 7 that you need a 10 out of.
Yeah. No, that's something I've been thinking about for a while now, is why do I have to drag this stuff out of people that are around my age? And I guess it's just things are right there, immediate. And if they're not, then we're not going to fuck with it and we're going to go find it somewhere else where it is immediate.
Right.
Which is frustrating because then, I mean, you have no self-worth at that point, right? Like we talked about before, what have you accomplished? What are you proud of? I don't know how we're going to fix that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying if you're in a bad relationship, you should just hang in there forever.
No.
Because you really only do get one life.
Right.
But I am saying that there is something very fulfilling about hanging in there when something is hard and not just tapping out. Just like, no, we're gonna hang through this. For example, you see married couple, they lose a child. I think the stats are somewhere like 92% of those couples get divorced. That's just too hard to make it through. And yet, if you've ever been through something in life that's hard with another person who's your romantic partner, it can bond you together and create this strength that wouldn't be there if everything was just perfect and easy and fun and sexy and all that shit. If it was all Instagram all the time, I think most relationships would be pretty shallow.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Like, you have to challenge each other, and that's how you grow together. You know, but you do, yeah, that is the tough part, is when do I stick it out and when do I throw in the towel? And that's something I still am trying to figure out, and in how to explain it to people, or at least what I think about it. I have tons to still learn, don't get me wrong, but I think I've learned enough about myself and trust that I know, okay, this person is worth fighting for or not. I did not know that when I got married, as young as I did. So going back to your point of like, we need to at least be 30 when we get married, I agree. Like, you've had some life experience. Right. You've been through probably a good long-term relationship. I mean, that was my first long-term relationship. Why the hell did I get married? Right. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is I guess the ultimate question when it comes to that subject is when do you grit it out and when do you say, hey, I got one life?
Yeah. Maybe some of these people who won't work hard when they come to the gym, you should just say, look, getting laid is going to be way more fun if you would just put it in the gym a little bit, loosen those hips up a little bit, give you a better lung capacity,
get some endurance,
work on your endurance a little bit. This program that you're putting together, you'll take on life coaching clients right now, help them out, give them advice, help them get fit, or if they're not interested in that part of it, you'll help them out with the sex stuff and vice versa. That's
what I'm hoping for. It's still my, in baby thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm still working in each.
Hey, you're beta testing it.
Yeah. Right? Each. Oh man.
That's from last time. You want to criticize Mother Teresa with me?
Like, how does this connect?
That's almost as good as the one you pulled up. Who's it was he accidentally stopped a Rogan ice plunge video right with just Joe's 2 nipples.
Wow.
Zoomed all the way in.
Yes, please.
With a guy who I had on who's, pretty conservative.
Oh.
And I just kept looking over. I'm like, what are you doing, Sohail? Fucking hey, man.
That's amazing.
Just paused
You still had another employee in here during that time.
Oh, that's
Rogan
right.
nipples. This is amazing.
Yeah, it just and plus that face.
God.
He's got his serial killer face.
Have you seen all those tattoos people are getting with him on?
Yes.
Oh
what do
my
we?
God.
Since when do you get
Is
a
that
tattoo
goal
of another?
yours?
No, are you fucking kidding me?
Have y'all seen the Elon tattoo?
No. God,
I would if someone got a tattoo of me, man.
That's creepy.
That's just out of control.
Yeah.
Whoa, anytime I see the lock icon, I wonder what's going on in that room when I'm not around.
Dun, dun, dun.
You're around. Can turn my camera on.
That photo is special, though.
Yeah, and it's still there, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
So, good job, Joe. Bunch of people getting Elon Musk tattoos.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
That's terrible.
I like tattoos a lot.
What's
Same.
crazy is it's such a good artist. Like,
man.
Huh.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I personally don't understand that. I don't understand getting autographs from people. I'm like, you're a human. I'm a human. You can run fast, but I don't want you to sign your name and give it to me. I don't.
Wait, speaking of
That's
that,
not really a thing for me.
one of my favorite requests on OnlyFans was, I want a photo of you autographed so I can hang in my room. And I'm like, what? My question
is this the 90s?
What
with
are
posters?
you gonna do, like, when somebody comes over?
Yeah, that's a concern. Sure.
So
Yeah, the whole request.
I've had some interesting requests.
Yeah,
on there.
I can. I can.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your mom think about that? Does she
She does know.
How's that go down? Hey, Mom, I gotta run something by you.
Actually, that was kind of fine. I was like, hey, look, I'm doing this thing. I don't think she fully understands what
it
OnlyFans is. Yeah.
Hey, I saw something with a nurse today saying she used to earn $70,000 a year and now she earns $200,000 a month.
Oh, you can make money on OnlyFans if that's what you want to do. I just, like, my advice for women that have asked me about getting into it, I'm like, if you want to get into it for the money, don't do it. Like, 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, you're going to be exhausted, tired of it. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be fulfilled. And then think about, not even because it's sexual, is this something you want to do in 10 years? Mm-hmm. Is this something that you want to rely on for that long? Again, mine's just for pure fun.
Right.
And like, hey, cool, I made an extra few grand. Great. But yeah, do you see yourself in 5 years still doing this? Because cool, you got all that money that year. Great. What are you doing in 10 years?
Is that what you see yourself doing in like 5 or 10 years? Like having masterminds, clients coming in for events, stuff like that?
I would love to. I would love to talk. I actually thought about going on that. I don't know if you heard about the Great American Speak Off.
No.
Yeah. So, oh God, I forgot their names, but is blanking on me right now, but it's kind of like American Idol, but for motivational speakers.
Hey, Sohail, will you look that up? Wow, maybe I should enter.
Yeah, they had a few.
The Great American Speak Off.
I'm curious, though, if all of the tryouts are done. That's the only thing.
That's big business now, right? Being a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Being a life coach.
Yep.
What's your biggest criticism of most gurus and life coaches? Mine, business guru. You've never had to make payroll. I'm not listening to a goddamn thing you have to say, bro. I don't care how many yellow Lambos you have.
Yeah. So my biggest criticism I faced, or I would give
both. You get criticized?
Actually not too bad.
Yeah.
But I'm such a small fish in a big pond.
Right.
So I'm not relevant enough yet. Yeah, there you go. That's the Great American Speak Off.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you're supposed to go in, you get like a minute to try out. If you pass on from there, then you get 2 minutes. If you go on from there, you go to Miami. And then the top 3, I think, go to Vegas.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a pretty
So you got to
cool
give
trip.
them like the elevator pitch of your entire speech?
Pretty much. And when I heard about this, I didn't realize it had a 1 minute thing. And so I was like walking my dogs, kind of, you know, saying my speech. And then I got back in and really listened to some videos about it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I just talked to myself for 15 minutes about myself. So I need 1 minute. Okay.
Oh, they got Grant Cardone's picture up there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. That was the name I was looking
Yeah.
for. Yeah, he's a big one.
Yeah, that sounds like a Grant Cardone venture. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I just thought it was cool. It would be an experience, right? I didn't think anything would come of it, but
Yeah, no, you seem very adventurous.
Yeah.
Like you give damn near everything at least one shot, at least one try. Have you skydived?
So that is one thing I would never do.
What are you doing?
Ever, ever, ever do that.
Why?
I would have absolutely no control, and I don't like that.
But I thought that was part of your behind closed doors persona.
Okay, so the fun part about that is I have all the control at the end of the day.
Okay.
Because, so we can agree, like I can sign a contract with my dominant and say he can do these things to me. That we can discuss these things, we can do all these things, and he, you know, I have to say yes, right?
Do you mind getting in front of the mic?
Oh,
Pulling
sorry.
Pulling it to you.
But if I say no, he has to stop.
Right.
So that's it. I have the power.
It's like the closest you'll feel to nature.
Yep.
Jumping out of an airplane.
But no.
Give it a shot,
Hell
man.
no.
What's up with that?
Oh, it scares the hell out of me. Absolutely. Like, I can't even handle roller coasters.
Yeah, I don't like roller coasters, but that's more the motion sick stuff.
Oh, no. That
and
is
being around people.
For me, it is being out of control completely. So I went to fucking Disney World, which I'm not going to do that again. That was terrible.
I bet.
But I went to go do a roller coaster, and I had my Fitbit on or whatever.
Right.
It had my heart rate going, and just standing in line, my heart rate was like 158.
Really?
Oh yeah, zooming,
That's
hands
when-
sweaty.
That's when you got to pursue that thing then.
Oh, and I did it, and I got off, and I said, "Fuck that.
Not
That
doing
was
it
not
again?
fun." Now, if I
The fuck?
if I do one of those roller coasters that are indoors,
Yeah.
I'm fine. That I can't see it, I'm fine.
What about the I Fly thing where you could, you know that tower over in Frisco at Stonebriar Mall? They like blow wind up at you and you're skydiving, but you're only like 40 feet off the ground. And there's a huge, that's how you should tiptoe into it. Dip your toe.
I think I could do that.
Yeah, I Fly. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, I could do that.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I could do that. But I don't know. Like, I don't even like water slides. Yeah, as adventurous of a human as I am, like I went to Atlantis and actually that's where I spent my honeymoon, and I went down that slide that whenever you
Yeah.
watch the commercials with the sharks, I went to grab the sides, which you're not supposed to do,
No.
right? That's when your arms rip off your body. Quickly realized it was not a good idea. And I got out of that, and my husband was like, "How was it?" I was like, fuck that, I'm done, out, I'm done, I
Wow.
quit. So for the rest of the trip, I went down the lazy river.
That's funny.
Yep.
Giving me a tingle and I don't like it. It's just,
Sorry,
it's
Jess, last
just fucking ridiculous. I don't even know.
Y'all are lining me up.
I don't. Yeah, I feel
I'm
like.
sorry.
I feel like I'm gonna have to put the kibosh on the drops in the future. Well, if people want to reach out to you,
Yes.
Connect with you, what's the best, most efficient line of communication to you to connect with you?
Hit me up on Instagram. It's Nicole _Wise_1. Pretty simple. Just shoot me a DM there, and then I have my link tree under my profile, so you can go through all of my different stuff. There's my cute puppy Optimus. That's Optimus Prime.
Does he have some Catahoula in him?
Yeah. Oh, good
Look
for
at
you.
that
No one
action.
knows that.
Bang.
He's Catahoula Pitbull.
What color are his eyes?
Blue.
Yeah, very cool.
Best $20 I ever spent in my life.
You rescued him?
Yep. I got him off of Craigslist. He was supposed to be an Australian Shepherd. He was not. So, yeah, he's one of my 2 rescues.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nicole, thank you for coming on the podcast. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
It was awesome.
Oh,
You're
and
a
I
rock
did want to
star.
give a shout out.
Yeah,
for,
shout him out.
So my brother's brand, actually you may like them too, Snaps.
Oh, nice.
It's this brand new shirt company. Sadly, they don't make women's clothes, but they make some fucking awesome hats. All American made products, and they also donate to veterans. So
Awesome.
that's
Go
what I'm all
Nicole's
about
brother.
it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little American flag there in the whole 9 yards. Love it. Awesome.
Can you hold it up? Nice.
Yes.
Awesome. Beautiful. Appreciate you.
Well,
That was
thank
great.
you.
100%.
Thank you.
That's interesting. I hope you thought it was as well. Nicole's got great energy. Learned a lot about alpha submissives, dominance, interpersonal relationships, sex, romance, monogamy, polyamory, all of these great things. We don't talk about uncomfortable topics like this very often as a society. I think it's interesting to do a deep dive to try to get to the bottom of things, get answers, figure out what makes us all tick. Look, without sex, there are no people. There are no children. There are no civilizations. And yet we really just, we torque down on that topic. It's uncomfortable for people. They don't like to talk about it. They talk in negative terms about it. Maybe if we could be a little more open about it, seek to understand where the other person is coming from just a little bit more, it would all do us a hell of a lot of good. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'd love to know what you think about the Jess Marshall Podcast. Drop a comment below, like, subscribe as always, please. And if you know somebody who I should have on the show, in the studio, reach out to me anytime on Instagram at Jess from the Northwest. And we'll see y'all for the next one.